your punches. But I be hitting them with all type of hooks. You can hit it with a straight jab, but it got some. Look at the beginning of it though. I'm gonna put got some this game. Watch. Look, speed game on point.
How you change the song? We can't listen to Young and Mad. It's like I'm just talking shit.
Yeah, but they ain't real though. Yeah, they playing, but they late though. Where these boys from?
Michigan.
They not coming. Hey, D. Hey, bro, them boys ain't coming, man. They not coming. Hey, D. I might as well tell y'all. They not coming, man. Y'all laughing. Them boys ain't coming down here.
Okay, and welcome to Chiefs Countdown, and we are here with number 1, Dre Reap. And Dre, why don't you give us a little background and your history here with the Chiefs and what you expect out of the Polarbears tonight?
Expect a hard-hitting game from both ends. Hope, a competitive game, but I expect us to come out with the victory.
Okay. Is it, looking at their record, I believe they're 4-6. Does that mean anything to you, or you guys come out there, approach them as 0-0, everybody's the same, and you set the pace from the beginning of the game?
Yeah, it's 0-0. It's the playoffs, so you got to set the pace for the playoffs. It's not just for this game. You set the tone for the rest of the playoffs. Try to make a statement. That's basically what this game is. It's a statement game. We've been out for a couple weeks, so we all a little thirsty to,
ready to play.
Yeah.
Healed up and ready to go. We've watched you for several games this year. What's your favorite, offense or defense? You prefer the DB or wide receiver, or?
I'm known for offense in Cincinnati, playing receiver. From my background with the Comets and Ravens, but I prefer defense. Actually.
Prefer defense?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, Dre, good luck tonight, and if you get a chance, stop by after the game, and we'll get your reactions to how the Chiefs came out on top.
Appreciate that. No problem.
Yep.
Good luck, Dre.
Thank you.
And is this Eric? Eric?
Derek.
Oh, Shear. Okay.
Yep.
We got it. Okay. Okay. Okay, and the next chief up in our pregame here is Derek Shear. Chuck, do you have any questions for Derek there?
Derek, what kind of matchups are you looking forward to tonight?
I'm looking for a lot of maybe like cover 3, cover 4 defense. So, I'm looking for our quarterback to, check down to the hitches and outs, work the slants and digs because they're going to play us deep. They know we're a deep threat team. We got a lot of deep threats on the outside, so.
Okay. Derek, do you know much about what you're going to see defensively from the Polarbears?
No, I haven't got the chance to play against the Polarbears yet. I have a few teammates on this team that played against the Polarbears when they were a part of the Comets.
Okay.
So whatever they inform me on tonight is what I'm going to adjust to.
Okay. And we see that did you play at University of Cincinnati?
No, I didn't get to play at University of Cincinnati. I went to University of Cincinnati to study straight nursing, but I did get to play professional arena football.
Okay, and who did you play arena football with?
I played with Dayton Sharks.
The Dayton Sharks?
Yes, sir.
Okay, very good. Well, good luck tonight.
Oh, thank you.
And if you get a chance, stop by after the game, and we'll get your reactions to a Chiefs victory.
Oh, sure. Thanks.
Okay. Thanks, Derek.
Yeah.
What's on that?
What's on? Looking.
You got you on there?
Did they get you on there?
Right here.
Vincent Harris. Okay.
I was at Florida State University in Kansas. We always do it. Yeah, I went out to school out in Kansas. I went to LaSalle High School too.
All right, so next we're joined by Vincent Harris. And Vincent is a defensive end, played high school ball here in Cincinnati at LaSalle. And tell us a little bit about your college experience. Where did you say you played at?
I went to Hutchinson Community College. Then I went from there. I went to a Division II school called Emporia State University.
Okay.
Those both was in Kansas.
Right.
So you've done some traveling to play ball for sure.
Yeah, facts. Yes, sir.
All right.
And when you now are you? I see you went to LaSalle, so you're from this area. What was your inspiration to come out and play for the Chiefs?
Well, I mean, I had played like a couple years before with the Comets and the Southern Ohio Buckeyes, but just the love of the game, just to keep playing and to get some energy off on the weekends.
Okay. Well, we've seen you play a couple times this year, and the defensive end play has been outstanding for the Chiefs, and you're part of that. And we wish you the best of luck tonight.
Thank you.
All right. Good luck, Vince.
And that is Vincent Harris. Good luck. Okay. Was that? Oh, okay. Say, I know it, right? Okay. Deionta. Okay. And the next comment up is Deionta Hayes, and Deionta played at Princeton High School, correct?
Yes.
Okay. A great program over there. Princeton's known for producing some great football players. And what do you expect out of the Polarbears tonight?
But we played them last year with the Kings Comets. I played over there with a couple of guys that came over to Cincinnati Chiefs this year. I mean, they really didn't show us anything.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I don't know what to expect really tonight if they progress in their organization.
Yeah, so you don't know if there's new players or what they've brought in or how they've changed.
So I'm just going in it as, just having fun,
Okay. Now, how old are you? How long have
23.
23.
Yeah.
And is there any goal when you play in this league? Do you want to try to go to the next level, arena, CFL? I mean, what, or is it just to come out and play?
Well, last year I made the Cincinnati Flex Arena team.
Yep.
But I couldn't really, complications with family and everything, I couldn't play the season.
Okay.
Doing this is kind of helping me move forward, and what I really want to do is try to make it to the league or CFL or something like that.
Sure.
So, I mean, this is kind of helping me a lot. Really.
Keeps you going?
Yeah.
Okay.
Me going.
Well, thanks for sharing with us, and good luck tonight. And if you get a chance after the game, stop in and let's review your victory.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Thanks, Deionta.
Good luck, sir.
Pierre.
Oh, okay. Okay. Number 8, Pierre Savage-Hunter. I love your name. And go ahead, put your headsets on. Pierre, we've watched you a couple times earlier in the year. You're a pretty explosive player. You're always around the football. And what's your background as far as a football player?
I came from LaSalle High School,
Okay.
2015 class. I was on that state championship team. Then I went to Mount St. Joe for a year.
Okay.
I played there, and then after that, I came here, played for the Cincinnati Comets, Kings Comets.
Mm-hmm.
And then after that, it was this year I came to the Chiefs.
And I take it it's worked out pretty well for you. Feel pretty much at home here?
Oh, yes, I feel really at home.
Okay, well, very good. Well, I know you guys are almost getting close to kickoff here, so good luck. And if you get a chance, stop by after the game, and we can talk about a Chiefs victory.
Okay, perfect.
Okay?
All right.
Thanks, Pierre.
Yep. Take care.
Thanks, sir.
Number 69. Eric. Oh, Dion. Okay.
6 tonight. Okay. All right, next we're joined by Dion Connelly. And Dion, you played at Cincinnati College Prep, is that right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And tell us a little bit about yourself. When did you graduate, and have you played anywhere else?
Actually, I graduated in 2015.
Okay.
I only played at Cincinnati College Preparatory Academy.
Okay. Great. So what brought you to semi-pro football?
Coach Poole, actually. He wanted me to come out here and try it. So.
Okay. Had you played for him at college
Yeah.
prep? Or okay, so you already had that relationship. And,
Yeah.
And tell us a little about your season so far. What?
I think it's been pretty good, actually. Back here at safety, I love it. I love it. It's explosive all around the field.
Just hawk the ball, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty
Patrol
much.
the middle of the field, huh?
Yep.
All right.
Very good.
Great.
Okay. Well, Dion, if you get a chance after the game, stop by and let's talk about a Chiefs victory.
Yep.
Okay.
Thanks, sir.
Good luck.
All right.
Chris Davis, yeah. Okay.
All right. So next, we're joined by Chris Davis, another lineman here for the Chiefs. And Chris, I know looking at the roster, it says you spent some time at Central State. Are you a local product? Did you play in the area here for high school? Or?
Yes, I did. I actually went to a Harmony Prep School.
Okay.
Came out of there when we was actually #1 prep school at the time.
Now, was Coach Poole there when you were?
Yes, sir. That was his very first year.
Okay.
We did it. Ran through it.
Yeah. And in your time at Central State, were you defensive tackle there, or what did you play at Central?
Yeah, I was defensive tackle, offensive line.
Okay.
Yes,
Okay. Chuck and I have had an opportunity to watch you play this year, and you and as Eddie Davis,
Yes, sir.
you guys are definitely space eaters in the middle, and you guys do a super job on that defensive line.
Thank you.
With the Polar Bears, anything different we're going to see, or are you guys just going to go out and?
Honest, I don't know too much about this team.
Okay.
But at the same time, I take it as any other game.
Yep.
Same thing. Game
Okay.
plan always the same.
Okay.
One play at a time, right?
Yes,
Yep.
sir.
Yep.
Well, Chris, if you get a chance after the game, stop by and we'll talk about victory.
All right, thank you. Appreciate
Okay.
it.
Yep.
All right,
Take
thanks,
care.
Chris.
Yep. And last but not least, Antonio Davis. How you doing, Antonio?
I'm doing cool. What's going on, Ray? You good? How you doing?
And Antonio, you know, we chatted about a week ago. You were up in the studio, and so, you know, in this league, do you guys get a lot of film so you have some idea, or is it just you're going to come out with a game plan, and as it goes on, you kind of evaluate what you got out there?
I don't know. I keep going back to my age all the time. The age that I am, we stick to what we do.
Right.
We've been doing the same thing since I've been playing. This is my 8th year in the league. Most of the guys in the league know what we do.
Right.
Most of the guys taking some of the plays that we run, and they run them themselves.
Right.
Right.
So they know what we're going to do. My thing is you got to stop it. So
Right.
I mean, you might know what we do, but you don't know when we're going to do it. So
Right.
we go ahead and we stick to our guns, and we just play our game on offense and defense, and we let the chips fall where they may. I feel like we have the best defense in the playoffs, so we're just going to ride their coattails, and hopefully we can play as good as they've been playing. So,
And, you know, Chuck and I have noticed the first game we came out to, and I was, who was it, Tayshawn. He had a big game there against the Hornets the first time. You're so deep at wide receiver, Paul Jones and that. It seems like it's somebody different stepping up every game. And is that how it works?
Well, for the most part, yes, just because we have so many receivers that can do it. So I'm trying to get the ball out of my hands as quickly as possible because those guys, they're electric when the ball is in their hands. So
the playmakers,
all the playmakers. I had about 8 or 9 receivers. So and you know none of that is possible without. I told you last time. I'm sorry, big guys, the big sexies. I love you, big sexies. I always got to mention my offensive line just because they are the reason that I am still here. So I love them, and I appreciate you, big sexies.
You got to take care of them, right?
Got to take care of them. Yes,
right.
sir. Yes, sir.
Well, Antonio, we'll let you get down there, but after the game, after the Chiefs get a victory, come on up and talk to us.
Definitely.
Okay.
I would love to.
Okay.
All right, have a go.
AD, good
yes,
luck.
sir.
Good luck.
All right.
So,
Thank you.
So, Chuck, it seems like a confident, relaxed group coming in here, and you know, that's the one thing about this league. I know for you and I being high school coaches, That would be kind of tough not having film, and you prepare all week. You go and get ready for the fronts and defenses you're going to see, or what kind of offense they're going to run, and so that's got to be somewhat tough in the beginning of the game when you come out and you really.
Well, I think you're exactly right, Bill, and I think that's what the first couple series, really will consist of tonight. Will be both teams kind of filling each other out, but kind of like AD just told us there, they know what they're going to do, and
right.
It's just a matter of execution and getting it done. So we've seen the Chiefs do that all year. So I think we're ought to be a very fun ball game tonight.
With the athleticism that we've seen out of as many as 8 different wide receivers for the Chiefs. The big play threat, they can just stretch the field, and at some point, a seam's going to break open, and they're going to get that ball out there.
Well, that's exactly right. And just like we talked about with AD, that it seems like it's somebody different every week. And, as deep as the Chiefs are at wide receiver and at running back, that they're able to do that. And you're right, if a team could game plan for them, it'd be awful hard to plan for them.
Right.
Only because of that, you kind of go back to the old Bill Belichick thing of, we're going to take away your best weapon. Well, if I was game planning for the Chiefs, I'm not sure who I would try to take away.
Yeah. And, of course, we've seen T.J. Harris, number 4 for the Chiefs at running back. And in most games, he's been a man amongst boys when he runs the football.
That's for sure.
We would expect to see the same. And T.J., if T.J. gets the running game going early, that's going to put the Polar Bears in a tough situation because you're going to see a lot of the run-pass option plays, and that's going to just create a lot of problems for their defense.
That's exactly right. And we've seen the Chiefs all year of, they want to be in a position to put pressure on the other team. And, even though they will, feed TJ quite a bit, there's really seems like no time when they want to just turn into a running team either. They, keep the foot on the gas the whole time, and that's what makes them so exciting to watch.
Yep. And so, we look at the Highland Park Polar Bears. They're Highland Park, as close as I can figure, we're looking at a map, it seems to be a suburban area of Detroit.
Mm-hmm.
And, we run down their schedule. They played the Michigan Hurricanes. They lost 25-12. They came back with a victory against the Michigan Crusaders, 32-21. Then they played the South Michigan Timberwolves, who are up in that area, the equivalent to the Columbus Fire.
Right.
They are right there at the top. They dropped a 24-8 decision to the T-Wolves. Then they played the Summit Storm and lost a close one, 14-12, which could have been the difference between that 500 and sub 500.
Right.
They came back and dumped the Crusaders 28-0 again. Lost another close one to the Detroit Seminoles, 14-12. Played the Cleveland Rams and lost 38-18. Came back to the Michigan Hurricanes again, dropped a much closer game this time, 13-6.
Right.
And then got the South Michigan T-Wolves as they were probably getting in full stride for the playoffs, and lost 40-14 there. And they won against the T-Wolves. And then, of course, against the Titans, it looks like that was a forfeit, 6-0.
Right.
So, they were close in a couple games, which could have flipped the record for the season for them.
Yeah, that's right. And again, the record can be a little deceiving if you just look at wins and losses. It kind of looks almost like the Polar Bears are kind of limping into the playoffs.
Yeah.
Taking on the Chiefs here. With the Chiefs with only 2 losses this season. To a very good Columbus Fire team, and a split with the Dayton Hornets. So again, Cincinnati does look to be the favorite team tonight, but we certainly shouldn't take these Polar Bears lightly.
Well, they are I believe, are the number 2 seed in the southern half of Tier 2. They would take on the number 1 team in the tier, which would be the Columbus War Eagles next week, should they get past the Polar Bears. So we'll be traveling to Columbus next week for that game, and promises to be a good football game up there.
That's for sure.
Of course, we've got to get through this one first before we can start talking about the War Eagles. And, you are listening to this game on Campus Nation and WZAA 106.9 LPFM in Jeffersonville, Ohio. Oh, very good. So Rick was just informing us that the Polar Bears are dialed in on this too. Looking at this schedule though, Chuck, getting back to that for a second, if that score is correct and they beat the South Michigan T-Wolves 40-14, that's got to be a momentum builder for them coming into the season or coming into the playoffs, because the T-Wolves are a formidable opponent, and if they beat them 40-14, that would bode well for them coming into this game.
Yeah, it does. And like you said earlier, it seems like they kind of hit their stride at the right time of the season.
Right.
Coming into the end here. So that's exactly right. We haven't seen the T-Wolves, but we know just by the record, we know that they're again a pretty strong team. So again, that does look well for the Polar Bears. And again.
So I don't, Cincinnati can't overlook them, because if they can play the T-Wolves strong, they can put out a strong effort today against the Chiefs, and the Chiefs have to be ready to go right off the bat.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And, again, we talked to some of the Chiefs earlier, if you missed that in our broadcast, and, it sounds like they're loose, but, ready to go.
Yeah, and, of course, we talked to, I think the key on defense, we've seen Anthony Berry take games over this year, and I think it's going to be no different today. If Michigan, or if the Polar Bears can't control Anthony Berry, then it's going to be a long night on offense for them.
Oh, no, you're exactly right, Bill. We unfortunately we talked to Anthony a little bit before we went on air and didn't get a chance to get him on air, but
hopefully we'll get him after the game.
Hopefully, yeah. We talked about how he likes to set the tone for the defense, and our last guest Antonio Davis talked about that, about how the Chiefs all year have kind of leaned on their defense, and Anthony Berry really does set the tone for them. He likes to bring the wood, and we've seen him with a lot of nice sticks this year, and I'm sure tonight will be no different.
Defensive front has made all the difference in the world. Anthony, when you've got a pass rush like they have and guys that are penetrating, there's no chance to block second-level players.
No, that's exactly right. We've seen a very active D-line by the Chiefs, and again, a lot of times we're getting that done with 4 guys.
Yeah.
And so, if the other team has to use 5 guys to block 4, you're right. The math just doesn't add up. There's going to be somebody coming free, and and the Chiefs have taken advantage of that all year.
And we had a chance to talk to Jamil Peoples. He was one of the players that came up to the studio, and what a fun guy Jamil is. He's from Central State, which a lot of this roster has had playing experience at Central State. And, of course, we'll be doing some Central State games when we get into the college part of the schedule. And Jamil Peoples, and he is a presence when he is at defensive end.
Yes, he is. There's no doubt about it.
And then Vincent Harris, the other defensive end. Now, they had Vito Sosa, and I don't know what happened to Vito, but Vito was a pretty good defensive end too. It was like I think they're 18 and 19 were their numbers.
Yeah, and I think if I'm not mistaken, Vito got hurt in a game earlier this season.
Is that what happened?
I don't know what happened, but yeah, we've seen some outstanding defensive end play out of the Chiefs, and again, we expect that to continue tonight. So the Polar Bears tackles are going to have their hands full protecting the edge out there.
Yeah, because there is no comfort zone if you're the quarterback playing against that Cincinnati defense.
Oh no, they're tuned up and ready to go all the time. So again, could be a long night for the Polar Bears up front.
And of course, in the secondary, you've got first game of the year. We watched Sergio Freeman pick off 3 passes against Dayton, and we know that their secondary with Dre Reap and Sergio, and you've got Chaz Morton back there. And, of course, we had the opportunity to talk to Pierre Savage-Hunter.
Yes.
Their secondary will attack the football, and a lot of times that's because the quarterback just can't get set and get a good ball off, so they get a good opportunity for a lot of turnovers.
No, that's exactly right. The Chiefs are, solid at every level on defense, and, just like AD Antonio Davis was talking to us just a little bit ago, that they really do rely on that defense to really set the tone for the whole team, and they really do.
Yep. Chuck, while we got a couple minutes before the game, of course, we talked about the college games, and we have done, and we're going into our second season of the Ohio College Game of the Week program, and we've got a nice lineup set up this year.
Yeah, we do. Going to be traveling all over the state, of course, predominantly Southwest Ohio, which is our home base, but again, we do have some nice trips planned, and Yeah, do you want to go over some of those games we have coming up here?
Yep, we open up Thursday night, August 30th. West Liberty University out of West Virginia travels to Urbana for a 7 o'clock game, and we'll open the season on a Thursday night, as a lot of schools are doing now.
Right.
And then on Saturday night, September 1st, Capital is at Mount St. Joseph, and
that's Mount St. Joe's opener, and I know they're really excited about starting out with a night game.
Yeah, they're starting out with a night game. This is going to be our first year with Mount St. Joseph. They're excited to have Campus Nation and WZAA there to do these games. And in the Capital is a big game for them because they're in the Heartland Conference. Right or wrong, the Heartland Conference is not put on the same level with the OAC. And, and a lot of times the OAC gets a lot of kudos because of Mount Union.
Who?
Yeah, the Who. And so, you know, they want to be known as the other Mount. You know, they want to come and say, hey, we're Mount St. Joseph, and we're not talking about Mount St. Union.
Right.
Or Mount St. Union, Mount St. Joseph. And so so that's a big game against the OAC. They won last year by 10, and they would tell you it was an ugly game and how they won it. But they're looking forward to making that a convincing win this year.
Yep. And not sure the next week it looks like we could be traveling up to Malone to see the Pioneers take on Lake Erie College. And again, Malone, kind of an exciting trip for us. We get to go up to Tom Benson Stadium, home of the Hall of Fame game. Some of our fans probably just saw that stadium on TV a few days ago with the Ravens and the Bears. And you know, again, Malone, is Malone in the OAC?
No, Malone is in the GMAC, the Great Mid-American Conference, and that has Ohio Dominican, Findlay, Lake Erie is in there too. That's a conference game for them. And, you know, that's Malone had a rough year last year. They were pretty young.
Right.
So they're looking forward to moving forward. And Lake Erie had a little bit of a rough year. So so early in the year, that's a key game for both those programs to get a victory.
Yeah, it really is. You know, like you talked about, when both teams struggled last year, they'll be looking to really set the tempo earlier this season and try to get things going the right way. And, you know, again, what better chance to do that against another team that, is struggling and looking to turn things around.
And, of course, as Chuck said, we will be at the beautiful Tom Benson Stadium. And, you know, people might remember it when it was Fawcett Stadium. Of course, it's where Jim Thorpe broke in. The NFL broke in there.
Right.
And if you haven't seen the new stadium, you really owe it to yourself to go to the Hall of Fame and just, if nothing else, take a look at that new facility because it's fabulous.
Yeah, it's outstanding. That's for sure.
And it will be the site of the Division III National Championship in a couple years.
Right.
So Mount Union might have 15 home games that year. But anyhow, moving on to the next week, we're going to see Lake Erie College again, and they're going to be at Urbana University. And the Blue Knights, they've got some things going there. Their campus is being renovated. They've got new buildings going up. Their athletic facilities have, in just a few years, the changes I've seen on the Urbana campus have been amazing.
Yeah, they've really switched things up there. You know, I know that they have entered a new partnership with Franklin University out of Columbus, and Franklin and Urbana combined have really, like you said, really made some positive changes up there to Champaign County. So we'll see what continues there.
Yep. And then on Saturday, September 15th, Rose Holman travels to Mount St. Joseph. Rose Holman has been the champion in that league for the last couple years. So that is the door that needs to be kicked in by Mount St. Joseph to be able to win the Heartland Conference.
Yeah, that's right. You know, we just met with Mount St. Joe and a couple of their coaches and players a few days ago at a preview. And, again, they're looking for big things this year down at the Mount. So, we are very excited to bring our listeners there to the Mount and see if they can't get things turned around this season.
Yeah, because if they can, and it's like any other conference in Division III. You win the league, you get into the NCAAs, and that's, you got to get in to be able to win it.
Right.
On Thursday, September 20th, West Virginia Wesleyan travels to Urbana, and that will be the third Urbana Thursday game that we'll do. And
West Virginia Wesleyan is a newer program. I believe this will be their second or third year of football. So, again, I'm sure Urbana will be looking to kind of knock those new boys around a little bit and try to get a victory.
Exactly. We'll move to September 22nd, a Saturday, and the Muskingum Muskies travel to the Wilmington Quakers, and that will be a homecoming game for the Quakers, and the first of several homecoming games we're going to do, actually.
Yeah, we got quite a streak here coming up at homecoming games, and again, Muskingum and Wilmington have been, I don't think it's unfair to say two of the less than dominant teams in the OAC, and
I think you're completely fair.
That has been a quite a battle between those two teams, and so I think they'll be battling to try to get into the upper level of the OAC, the upper tier there. So
well, Coach Brian Moore has done a great job. He's bringing 81 recruits in at Wilmington, and so
we met with him the other day as well, and I don't want to interrupt you, but you really talked about a culture change there and a real shift that has taken place, and it's exciting to see.
Right.
Of course, our local listeners know Wilmington is pretty close to our home base, so we follow the Quakers quite a bit, and so it will be nice to see a new attitude and a new change of attitude there on campus.
Yep. And then on September 29th, we will go back up to Tom Benson for the homecoming game for the Malone Pioneers against Hillsdale College. And again, Hillsdale's a step up. They're one of the better teams in that league. And so if Malone, very much like we just talked about Wilmington, they want to move up in their conference, you've got to start beating people like Hillsdale if you're going to
that's right. Hillsdale's been a strong program for several years. Those not familiar, Hillsdale just across the border in Michigan, and so always nice for an Ohio team to knock off a team from Michigan.
Yes. And, they are, for a long time, a lot of these schools belong to a league called the GLIAC, which was has still kind of dominated by Grand Valley State up there. But things came apart, and they went to a divisional setup, and then these divisions actually ended up just being leagues.
Right.
And so Hillsdale, being closer to Ohio than most of the Michigan schools, ended up in the GMAC there. On Saturday, October 6th, University of Virginia Wise will be at Urbana University, and that will be Urbana's homecoming game.
Right.
And, of course, several of the players here, and we'll highlight those guys, played for the University of Virginia Wise that will be playing in tonight's game.
Yeah, that's right. And, that was kind of an interesting fact for us to look at as we went through the roster. Yeah. So, again, we'll have to ask some of these guys for some info on UVA Wise. But
find out a little bit about them. And
that's right.
And I believe when we talked to Derek Blyberg, the assistant athletic director at Urbana, he had informed us that it will be UVA Wise's last year in the Mountain East Conference.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they are leaving. They're more of the eastern part of that conference, and they're going to be leaving, and then they're going to bring in some expansion teams. On Saturday, October 13th, we'll be back at Central State for homecoming, where we were last year, and they will be taking on North Carolina Pembroke. And it was a great time up there, guys.
That was a party, that's for sure.
Yeah, it really was. We're looking forward to that trip, and Central State had a great parade and great food and great atmosphere, and so we're really excited.
And we love great food,
to go
don't
back
we?
There. Yes, we do.
And the young running back they had, I don't have my notes here, but the young running back who had like 180 yards for them in that game, he comes back as a preseason All-American candidate.
Yeah, and his name escapes me as well, but again, quite an athlete, and we'll be looking to hopefully have the Marauders take home a victory there on homecoming.
Right. And then on Saturday, October 20th, we will see the Baldwin Wallace Yellow Jackets travel down from Berea, Ohio, to go down and play the Quakers. And then it ratchets up for the Quakers when you start getting into the BWs of the conference and that. And
right.
So, Coach Moore knows. He said that, you want to get into the middle of the league. And when you get into the middle of the league, then it creates opportunities to, get in the playoffs and things like that. And maybe you will be the one that finally knocks Mount Union out of that spot.
Yeah, that's right. And like we talked about, if you really want to change the culture there, you've got to do that by knocking off some of those teams. You're exactly right, Bill. So, again, a big chance for Coach Moore and his Quakers to get things going.
And we double up. We come back the next day, and we will be at Hocking College, where they will take on Lackawanna Community College. and say that fast 3 times.
Can't make me.
But Hocking is a pretty decent situation there. Al Matthews has got a nice thing going there.
We've got a news flash
Oh,
here
okay.
for us.
Okay.
We've got, and he wanted to know if you were Eddie Fingers. And I said, no, he's not Eddie Fingers. But anyway, our guest PA announcer tonight is Hall of Famer Patrick Connelly, semi-pro football, Cincinnati.
Okay.
And he will be announcing the game tonight. He's not sure he can operate the score clock, but he will be doing the announcing. All right?
But, I'm glad that I got inducted this year
Okay.
to the Cincinnati Semi-Pro Football Hall of Fame. I mean,
That's quite an accomplishment.
it was kind of it's been long. Yeah, and I'm happy that I just got inducted into the Semi-Pro Football Hall of Fame, the Cincinnati Semi-Pro Football
It's a
Hall
great
of Fame.
honor there, Patrick.
Yes, it is.
Yes, it is. And basically, if it wasn't for A.C. Reed, Mike Metzger, and December Lamb, those 3 gentlemen were backbone. So he also have a guy named, his nickname is Snake, and he got me inducted. Or I didn't find out until April or so, and basically they did the announcements with the Cincinnati Sizzle women's tackle football team, which I've been doing for
familiar with the Sizzle?
7 years, and I call it, well, actually 8 years. I always say 7 years strong, 8 years strong means basically I keep my voice in a very strong fashion, and I did a guest PA announcing for a indoor football team down in Louisville called the Derby City Rough Riders, and I did it for 1 game.
Okay.
And I never done an out of town announcing gig in my life, but it was wonderful and the people were nice. The only problem is I got kind of stuck, but I made sure I got back to Cincinnati the next day.
Okay. Well, good.
But yeah, I mean, I think Cincinnati Semi-Pro Football is doing quite well this year. I just came from the Southern Ohio Blaze and the River City Buccaneers game, which is the playoff, and the Blaze are still in it. They won their 9th game
They're having a great year.
Yeah, they're now 8-0 in regular season, but 1-0 in the playoff right now.
Right.
And I must admit, Coach Spray and Mrs. Spray, they've been wonderful, and they made sure it's like we got split the pot. Okay, no problem.
Right.
Okay, we want to do America the Beautiful, instead of the national anthem. I said, as long as there's America involved, hey, there's no problem with it whatsoever. And I'm going to be announcing again next year for Cincinnati Sizzle, and and also. It's one of the best gigs I ever had. If Icky Woods, at the time, he's like, well, we need an announcer. I was like, well, would it be all right if I go? Yeah, sure. And they heard it we're keeping you.
Very good.
Yeah, and when we won our championship, which was at the time the United States Women's Football League,
right.
I had to go all the way up to Chicago, by Boston and everything. I had to go through 7 states within a 3-day period.
Wow.
And I had to get all this, moving around.
Right.
I'm like, I don't drive. I ride a bike, but, they say okay, wait here, wait there, And it's been wonderful to, support from, the semi-pro football community, also the women's tackle football community. It's been absolutely wonderful to, to embrace, the sport. And they love football. These women love football. In fact, one last thing, though. Tamar Fennell, number 5 of the Cincinnati Sizzle, she also played for what was called the Launch. Right now it's called the Legends Football League. She won not only the championship title, our first ever for the Cincinnati Sizzle, but she also won the Chicago Bliss Legend Football League championship.
Oh, yeah?
So she won 2 championships. I said, you got 2 championship rings now.
Nice. Now, how did did the Sizzle win the championship this year?
No, we were 4-4, and we lost our playoff game. Our playoff game was up in Toledo, and
Toledo Rain.
Yeah, the Toledo Rain, as they like to pronunciate it.
Yeah.
And but we're trying to keep our bearings intact. I mean, we had we almost had a close call when last year 2017, and we lost to the Anarchy. It's like 57-0. I'm like, oh dear. And I wish I was going down there. And they said, well, I'm glad we didn't because we got blown and everything. Like, it was never easy, but I absolutely love doing the announcing. As I said before, I keep my voice intact, and we're ready to, go into playoffs again. Especially the Chiefs look pretty good this year. I heard.
Yeah, the Chiefs are primed to make a run at the Tier 2 title here in the PAFL, and we're here to follow them as hopefully all the way to the Super Bowl.
Well, let's see what happens. I mean, if the Tier 2 version of the Super Bowl, why not? I mean, it's just this stadium has some good memories for me. The last time I was here was 2011 when the Kings Comets took on the Mount Carmel Fire, and they lost about 3 or so points. And it was a very tight playoff game, and the stadium, holds like public high school football stadiums. Now I heard this might be the new home of the FC Cincinnati Major League Soccer team.
Oh, really?
That it might be. Who knows?
Yeah.
So it's basically wait and see what happens, I guess.
Yeah. I guess you just can't keep soccer from moving in anywhere, can you?
Well, they're going to get. I heard they're going to get a new stadium replaced. They're not going to basically get rid of the public high school until they get the other stadium up. I guess.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of like with the Bengals. They can't get Paul Brown unless Yeah.
You got to find the interim.
You got to have like 2 years. You got to play that stadium for 2 to 3 years. I mean, look at what the Rams have to go through. I mean, they've moved down the media boxes and they're putting in this foundation tower, and it's going to be like $270 million for the renovation of 2 years over at the LA Coliseum.
Right.
And they're moving the media boxes down.
Are they?
And they're doing it like in midsection level. And I saw like the LA Coliseum webcam. And they did it in pretty good fashion, but they're halfway through with the foundation towers and everything.
Well, very good. Very good. Well, thanks for joining us. We're going to get back into the pregame, and congratulations on your induction.
I appreciate it. Thank you very much, and hopefully I'll get that ring someday. I'm saving the money for it.
Saving the money. Okay.
Right,
Thank you. So, finishing up this college schedule here, Chuck. We are at. We talked a little bit about hockey. Of course, we've had a relationship with hockey. T.J. Baker will be setting up all the games down there. Will be on WZAA and Campus Nation this year, as TJ will be heading up a crew, and then the Game of the Week crew will be making that trip down there on Sunday, October 21st.
Right.
On Saturday, October 27th, the John Carroll Blue Streaks travel down to Wilmington to take on the Quakers, and that's never any fun for anybody to take on John Carroll, because they are right there, beat Mount Union 2 years ago and gave Mount a run last year. So good quality program, and that's really the yardstick to see where you're at with your program.
Oh, that's exactly right. I don't even want to question or think how long it was before that Mount had lost an OAC game. I know it was several years.
Yeah,
so, John Carroll is another good program in that part of the state, and
right.
We do look forward to having them on our broadcast this year.
Looks like we're getting ready for some football, guys.
Yep, we are, and we are here, and the Polarbears have got out on the field. They're getting stretched out, and hopefully we will get a roster of the Polarbears before the
game actually starts.
Before the game starts, but if not, we will do our best. And in the past, we've had fans send us messages and things to tell us who's who, and if we always welcome that.
Yeah, that's right. So Polar Bear fans, if you're out there, you can send us a message through our website, and we would be more than happy to take on any kind of roster information you can give us.
And that was quite a drive for them to come down from that Detroit area, and that's one thing going down, Rick, in the future when we talk about the semi-pro football circuit. And that's one thing they have to consider. They don't have the budget of the NFL, so travel is a consideration. lodging. You can't stay overnight every game. So
of course, and this is a special situation because we're talking actually playoffs. Normally, these teams
wouldn't see each other.
They wouldn't see each other all season long, and that's the big thing right now. But I'm sure that it's kind of nice to get into a different part of the country, and Cincinnati is such a beautiful city.
Yeah.
And you've seen some of the panorama as we have tried to bring that to you thus far on our broadcast.
And you get to see a different perspective as far as how football is, and football's football, but still there's certain pockets of the country where football is played a little bit more intensely than it is in other pockets.
Ohio. I was going to say, where are we talking about?
Ohio.
Ohio, and of course, Michigan may, with the recent developments at Ohio State. Maybe
take advantage of it.
Yeah, although I think like Mike DeMaria said that the years that they've had coaching changes the last few years, it's actually turned out pretty well as they've won national championships pretty quickly after they've had coaching.
Yeah, it's been quick turnarounds.
I don't see a coaching change occurring, but
I agree. I don't. Of course, we've had and you notice ESPN's kind of changed their tune. At first, Urban was fired.
Yeah, they backed off of that a little bit. You're right, and I think it remains to be seen what the final decision will be. But
right.
I think that most of us are in agreement that Urban may face some kind of disciplinary action, but chances of him not being the coach at some point this season are becoming less and less.
Looks like we've got the captains meeting at midfield.
Yep. And. So, the one thing, the Chiefs are loose and confident and, ready to play. And that's one thing we've noticed in this league, Chuck, is, that's the Chiefs style. They come out and one of the players carrying the golden axe on down there. Now, the Chiefs are.
That's a little scary.
Yeah, it is. The Chiefs are dressed in their red pants, and they're going to have their gold tops.
Those are throwback.
Yeah, they're throwbacks, and
from their first year in the league.
And they're going to have the red numbers outlined in white piping, and a nice-looking uniform there, Chuck.
Yeah, reminiscent of the Florida State Seminoles. If any of our fans are just joining us on radio and can't see these,
Right. And the axe is much like Paul Bunyan carried all those years, in the woods.
Somewhat
backwoods.
smaller, I believe.
Yeah.
Well, that's true. Yeah.
I guess it would be similar to a Native American riding a horse with a hatchet or a tomahawk or something like that. I guess, them being the Chiefs, maybe that's the association with the axe like that. But I don't know. There's obviously some special meaning to it. That
well, if there's a fire that breaks out, we've got it covered.
We
right?
do.
There you go.
And a nice backdrop here to the stadium here at Taft High School.
Yeah, a lot of people, if you're familiar at all with the Cincinnati area, which I lived in Mount Adams, had an apartment in Mount Adams for a few years. As far as the location, we are off Ezra Charles, and Taft High School has been literally rebuilt from the ground up. It is now more of a technical school,
right.
As some of these Cincinnati schools as they were redone. We're just a block away from Music Hall, very famous landmark here in downtown Cincinnati. We are not too far over from a lot of nightlife, and that over the Rhine is just a few blocks away. And so there's just a lot, a lot of flavor, I guess you could say, being downtown like this, much like we saw in Dayton at Chaminade Julienne with the Hornets.
Actually, very similar. I was thinking that it's kind of the same backdrop there,
urban
with the
feel, kind of downtown, and,
right.
Yep.
So it will be interesting to see what happens tonight, and we will have the kickoff here shortly. And
well, it'd be nice if we had a relatively competitive game here. I mean, nobody wants to get, especially if you're driving any distance, to get blown out. And I wouldn't say, obviously there was a difference in the record of both teams, but anything can happen when you get to this level as far as going into the playoffs. And so it'll be an interesting game tonight. Hopefully, once again, as I said, competitive.
Well, I think the thing that was Chuck and I noticed was that they lost pretty convincingly to the Southwest Michigan Timberwolves in the first game, and came back and beat the Timberwolves 40-14 at the end of the year.
So they thumped them.
And the Timberwolves are right there with the Columbus Fire as one of the premier teams in this league. So, they apparently improved, and they're coming into this game. That's got to be a momentum builder, as Chuck said, for them to come off that kind of win.
I don't know whether we actually mentioned it or not, but we've got Dean Lee Thompson on one of our cameras. We have Heather N. Morgan on the other camera. Heather is taking our shots, I guess, a lot of the skyline. Also, just for the record, and my name is Rick Phillips, by the way, just for the record, we are going to go to a very special place tonight after the game.
Yes, we are.
No, it's not the casino downtown. We are going to the big one. 700 WLW, and we'll be on the American Truckers Network, of all things, for the Campus Nation crew. That's right. We'll be on the American Truckers Network. Now, it's a 5-hour show. We are not going to be here all night.
For those who couldn't get enough of us the other morning, you can hear us again tonight.
So we're going to be riding the wave with Dave tonight
sir.
on the American Truckers Network on 700 WLW. He comes on at about midnight, and we probably will not get a word in edgewise the first half an hour because he does all the updates on the truckers news and the weather and all that. But by 12:30 in the second segment there of the first hour, hopefully we'll get everybody on the air, and you'll be able to blast out to all 32 states that WLW broadcasts.
There you go.
That's right.
Hey, long as
it's almost as big as our broadcast radius at WZAA in Jeffersonville.
But not as big as our radius on
Campus Nation, because we are global on Campus Nation. That's right.
Now, would that put us in the same range as WALH?
No, don't think so. Well, I guess it would. I guess ALH is global as well. But,
yes.
Let's not go there.
I know sometimes we weren't even on, Rick.
I had nothing to do with that, and I know nothing.
Yes. Thank you, Colonel Schultz.
Sergeant Schultz.
Or Sergeant Schultz, yeah. Those are the good old days. So, of course, the PAFL has 3 tiers, and the Columbus Fire, of course, are the big name in the league. Still undefeated and poised to win another title in Tier 1. But, I think the Chiefs are in a great position. I know there's a strong candidate to make it to the finals in Canton. The Canton Pit Bulls were ranked number 1. But they took it pretty hard on the chin last game of the year against the Northeast Ohio Predators.
Yeah, that's right. And the Chiefs have made a lot of noise this year, and along with Dayton. So, 2 teams from Southwest Ohio.
Dayton have looked good,
very strong here.
And, that would be the game. Of course, we would love to see the rubber match between Dayton and Cincinnati.
After a split this year.
So that would be a great thing. But, we've been with the Chiefs. Was this our 5th Chiefs game, I think?
I believe that's right.
Well, this is our 5th game. I don't know. It's probably our 4th with the Chiefs because we did the Dayton Fire game.
Dayton Columbus. Yeah.
Right.
But anyway, primarily we have followed the Cincinnati Chiefs, and they've been a great team to work with, and a bunch of good guys on the team, and always upbeat, always fun, and so I'm sure that if they win a championship, there's going to be a big party.
Yes, and we'll cover that too.
That's right. Yeah. Although we won't be able to broadcast it because it'll probably be way out of the FCC bounds.
We can
even
cover
for the internet.
Campus Nation can cover it.
I'm not sure would be the right website for that.
Yeah. Probably Howard Stern should cover that one. So, anyhow, we look forward to a long association here with the PAFL and the semi-pro leagues here in Ohio, and next year we'll expand our coverages and hopefully bring you more of the top quality semi-pro football here in the state of Ohio, and God knows there's enough teams here, as there's 32 teams in this league. And,
right, it is an expansive league, that's for sure.
Yep, a lot of tiers and a lot of teams.
So have we ever figured out Stargell Stadium, who it's named after?
Yes, it's named after Willard R. Stargell.
Oh, okay. So it is named after Willard R. Stargell.
So
that's not the same Willie Stargell that we know.
I don't think it is Willie Stargell, but we don't know. So if anybody knows the answer.
Chuck is going to go to Google.
Yeah, because Willie Stargell, and I'm almost positive, spelled his last name with two L's.
Yeah.
Well. And, you know, because I was not a Pittsburgh Pirate fan growing up. Well,
you still aren't.
And I'm still not. And, of course, the Reds and the Pirates used to play quite often in the the National League Championship game or series. So Willie Stargell was one of the main stars during that period of time. And
Big Red Machine.
The Big Red Machine. And, of course, it was the 79 Pirates, the We Are Family team with Al Oliver and Willie Stargell and that, who Rennie Stennett, who went on to win the World Series in 79. And I think that's the last time the Pirates were world champions, so it's been quite a while since they wore that crown.
Yeah, actually, Willard Stargell was a football player at the University of Cincinnati and played at UC at a time when Jim Crow was prevalent, and it was a really great player for them. Went on to become a longtime teacher and coach here at Taft High School. And
there you go.
There you go.
So back deep for the Polar Bears is number 1 and number 14. And again, we do not have names, so any help that we can get by Polar Bear Faithful, that would be great. If you can cue us in on the people up there who are returning the ball. And, of course, for Cincinnati, it will be number 7 doing the kicking duties, Justin Simpson, who is...
Wow. This breaking news here. We have Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro survives an attempted drone assassination. Imagine that.
Interesting.
Wow.
We will talk about that next Friday morning. We'll keep the razor's edge out of this for right now, but
that's probably wise. So
yeah, we're not going to be
slight delay here. We've got a moving of a blocking sled going on in the end zone. So.
Well, get a little warm up before the game.
Well,
Chuck.
that's right. Yeah,
you know,
I don't think that's going to work.
Yeah, of course on turf, but yeah, you don't want to leave it there because somebody could get
could run into it.
It's probably better before. Yeah. Pad side facing the field. There we go. So now we got a little movement going on.
I think they're going to have to get it back a little bit farther. Yeah. What? Yeah, that is.
So who will determine in that? Will the
official
ref?
should determine that?
Should, yes.
Yeah, because I think you need.
It's a hazard.
Yeah, you see.
Well, there's actually 2 of them over there that are in a hazardous position.
Yes.
Well, anyhow, moving on here. But as we get ready for the kickoff.
Chiefs about set to kick off here.
The Chiefs, again, are in their gold jerseys with red pants and gold helmets. And they will be kicking from the 35-yard line going left to right.
Right, Polar Bears in white bottoms and white tops with blue helmets. And
sort of a powder blue?
Yeah, kind of off, like not quite navy.
Not quite.
Columbia, somewhere.
Marine blue? I don't
Marine, I like it.
So
I like
to
it.
The 15,
number 1 gets it up to the 30, over to 35-yard line. And Chuck, go ahead. You can.
That's where the Polar Bears will take over now. It's 1st and 10 from the 36-yard line.
And that appears to be a 10, 20, almost a 25-yard kick return, Chuck. So nice field position for the Polar Bears.
Yes, it was. Nice return by number 1 for the Polar Bears. All right, so we're going to get our first look here at the Polar Bear offense as they huddle up now and get ready to take over. And 1st and 10, and so it's actually going to be from about the 35-yard line.
Yep. And, you know, if you get to the 35-yard line, when I coached high school, we always considered that the 0 point, meaning if you get to the 35, you're about you're in all right operating territory.
Right, where you should be. So, all right. So Polar Bears break the huddle, and we've got looks like we've got a 3-by-1 formation. Looks like we're going to have 3 receivers to the bottom of the field. Quarterback shotgun. Running back is going to be offset to his right. There's the snap. Drops back. Deep ball down the sideline.
Wow.
Caught.
To number 8, I believe.
Well, that was a nice throw. Quarterback
Or
put it
number
right
4, and that's all the way down to the 26-yard line.
Yeah, so they flipped the field right away.
So
on the Chiefs,
you're looking at a 39-yard gain,
yeah,
Chuck.
Almost a 40-yard gain there on first down. So Polar Bears huddle up now.
Yep, and a nice catch by number 4 is.
It really was, and a nice throw by the quarterback.
Yeah.
Put the ball right on him, right where it needed to be. So looks like we're going to have the same formation now. 3 receivers to the bottom of the field, 1 lone receiver to the top. Running back offset to the right. Quarterback in the shotgun formation.
And the Chiefs in their familiar 4-man front, Anthony Berry in the middle.
There's
the snap, pressure, and number 9 tries to scramble forward.
Yeah, probably going to lose about a yard there.
Yeah, he loses a yard, and so that's going to bring up a 2nd and 11. Second and 10. Here we go again. Get the micrometer out, Chuck.
That's right. All right, so the Polar Bears break the huddle, walk slowly to the line, and now we're going to have a flip formation this time. 3 receivers to the top of the field, single receiver to the bottom. This time the running back offset to the quarterback's left.
And a 4-man rush.
There's the snap. Quarterback drops back screen to the left.
A little screen pass intended for number 24, the running back out of the backfield.
And I think really the quarterback just threw that at his feet, didn't want him to catch that because number 18 for the Chiefs.
That is Vincent Harris, who we had an interview with here.
That's right. So Vincent with a really nice play there, nice read on the screen, and
Vincent
really stopped that from developing.
Vincent and, of course, number 19, the ever-familiar Jameel Peoples. We talked about that in the pregame. These 2 guys bring the house when they bring pressure. Right. Yeah, some of this is not right, what we've got. I mean, we have some of it, so it is what we deal with. So we will look at the situation here.
All right,
3rd,
so quarterback drops back, looks deep
10.
this time for 14 in the corner of the end zone,
and okay,
nice
we
job
got
by the Chiefs.
we have a flag in the middle of the field, and I don't know where that flag was thrown, Chuck. I don't know if that's going to has anything to do with the actual play over here.
Yeah, thrown pretty far from the actual ball and the play on the ball. So, and I didn't see anything that looked like interference. I don't know, maybe we had holding before.
Well, and I saw one of the Polar Bears indicating that he had been held running his route. So we'll see what happens here. But there was they're going to call pass interference, and using NFL rules, that's going to be a spot foul.
Yeah,
and
so depending on where the foul occurred, that could be
down near the goal line. Appears it'll be the 4-yard line, and that'll be good enough for a first down for the Polar Bears.
All right, so that's where the Polar Bears will take over, 1st and goal from their own 5-yard line. Excuse me, from the Chiefs' 5-yard line.
Yeah, and the Chiefs are kind of a little shell-shocked there with all that.
Yeah, they are. And like we talked about, they didn't get a real good look at this team. They weren't sure what to expect. So, not to be unexpected here. 2-by-2 formation now. Running back to the quarterback's right. There's the snap. Quarterback looks for the slant inside and throws it over the head of number 14, incomplete.
And, of course, the only run we've seen was a quarterback. I don't think it was designed.
No,
it was
I don't
a quarterback
either. It's more of a scramble, right?
So I think that's going to be an issue, is to see how well they can run the ball, because as we've seen, you just can't keep on throwing the ball against Cincinnati with the pass rush. They'll eventually mount on you.
No, that's right. And they've got some pretty good play in that defensive secondary that, once they become a little more familiar with these routes, they're going to start sitting on some things and could be disastrous for the Polar Bears. So
right. And
same formation now, 2-by-2 look. Again, running back offset to the right. Again, 2nd and goal now from the 5. There's the snap.
Anthony Berry right up through. And that ball is number 15, Chaz Morton. came on the safety blitz and was able to. It didn't deflect it, Chuck, but he was able to change the trajectory of the ball.
Well, that, and I think he just forced him to throw it a little earlier. Number 4, the receiver for the Polar Bears, had broken free to the flat, but again, the quarterback had to throw the ball before he was ready, and so that led to the incomplete. So that's going to break it now. Looking to bring up 3rd and goal from the 5.
So we will see where the Polar Bears go with this, but I would think you might see some kind of a rollout here or something to give the quarterback a run-pass option, because the Chiefs are obviously going to pin their ears back and come after him in this situation.
Right. They like to get pressure, and again, they're going to go for it here. So back to the 3-by-1 look now. 3 receivers to the top of the field, lone receiver to the bottom. Yeah, back offset to the left.
And here comes the rush, and Jamil Peoples has got the quarterback, number 9, and he is all over number 9.
Yeah,
forcing him to throw the ball away and bringing up 4th down.
I'll tell you, close to a in the grasp situation there. The quarterback just doing anything he could to get rid of it, and there was a receiver in the area, but obviously that ball was not going to get there.
And we've seen Jamil all year do this. I mean, he just harasses the heck out of quarterbacks, and he's got to be a nightmare for every quarterback that he plays, Chuck.
Yeah, again, we've seen a lot of quarterbacks try to get the edge on him, and, he does a nice job setting that edge out there and just, hard to get over top of.
And he's got that good quickness, even when his feet stop.
This is from Jessica Richards, and she says, number 68, Timothy Venstra. Is that it?
Veenstra, maybe?
All right.
Well, we got one name.
Thank you, Jessica Richards. We appreciate that.
Okay,
all right, so
68 is
4th down here, 4th and goal. The Polar Bears are going to go for it.
I think
2-by-2 look.
Okay, number 9 looks. He goes to the corner, and that is incomplete.
Yeah, so we're going to have a turnover on down now for the Chiefs, and Chiefs will take over 1st and 10 from their own 5-yard line.
So after that big completion, Chuck, the Polar Bears were 1 for 6 passing there. So Cincinnati made some adjustments. A big pass aided by a pass interference, really. And so they are making some adjustments here. And Antonio went out and was telling everybody to some adjustment.
Yeah, that's right. So 3-by-1 here for the Chiefs.
And there's the drop. And Anthony gets the ball out to number 5 for the Chiefs. And
that's Derek Shear.
And Derek, one of the young men that we interviewed there.
And so again, so far AD has 1 receiver. Let's see who he goes to next.
And so that's a 9-yard gain. And so it's going to be 2nd and short, and a lot of things you can do here. So Antonio looks it over, 2-by-2 set. He takes his drop, gets the ball out quick, and that ball is up to the 20-yard line, which will be a 1st down.
Yeah, and again, so far, two plays, 2 hitches for the Chiefs, taking advantage of the Polar Bears, giving them some cushion out there on the edge.
Yep.
Let's see if the Polar Bears don't try to sneak up.
Try to bring some pressure on them here. And Chiefs. So 2-by-2 set, and Antonio looks it over. Cincinnati is being very deliberate. Paul Jones in motion from right to left. And there's the ball given off to Dove again. And Dove extends to his right, up to the 35, over to 35 to the 37-yard line.
Yeah, Dove with a nice cut there.
Yeah, and you always wonder when you extend a play like that as a running back, you're going to just find the sideline too quickly there. But he did a nice job, picks up 7, and Dove has got himself 17 yards on 2 carries, Chuck. So
nice start so far for young Mr.
Now,
Dove.
Now I wasn't here for a couple of the Chiefs games when I was on vacation, but did Dove play in those games? Do you recall?
Not that I recall. Yeah. I believe it's the first time we were seeing Mr. Dove.
So Mr. Dove could be a new addition here that we've not seen. So we've got 2nd and short, 2nd and about a yard, 3 to the left, 1 to the right. The back jumps over to the right of AD. AD looks it over, and
that's a movement.
And I guess we're going to get a
false start on the Chiefs.
Yeah, illegal procedure false start. And
I got those eagle eyes.
There's Rick over there. He's Mr. Eagle Eye over there.
Eagle Eye Rick.
Yes.
Well, I get the benefit of the video here, so
That's true.
I'm watching the video.
That's true. He's our switcher.
We do need to get you a monitor so that you can see what's going out over the broadcast.
Can we telestrate? Can we draw lines?
Not
on it?
yet. Not yet. Yeah, it's coming.
That's going to be fun, Chuck.
That's
when we can
right.
do that.
That's right.
Yeah, you'll be drawing all kinds of smiley faces and things like that on the screen. Huh?
Yeah, you're never sure what'll end up on the screen when that happens.
Mm-hmm.
So we've got
another 3-by-1 look here.
Yep, 3-by-1, and the ball is at the 34-yard line.
Polarbears showing pressure.
47, a nice quick cut there.
Ooh.
Oh, and number 28. We'll see. We got number 28, Ted Rivers.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, Ted delivered a blow right there.
Yeah.
He's not just taking shots; he's
Ted,
giving them.
Ted picks up first down as he advances the ball down to the 37-yard line, pick up a 10. So Ted Rivers, what a nice power run.
Yeah, so we've seen 2 Chief running backs so far, and two nice performances as of yet.
Yeah, for sure. And so
2-by-2 look here for the Chiefs now.
2-by-2, yep. And AD looks it over. We still cover 2. And there we go with Ted Rivers again. Rivers keeps his legs, turns down to the 20, 15, 10, 5. Touch, nope, a little bit short, almost to the zone.
We've got a flag.
And I think there's going to be a face mask on top.
You're exactly right, Bill. They had to get him down somehow, but that's the wrong way to do it.
So a 28-yard run for Ted Rivers, and Ted has opened up here with some, Carl Dove and Ted Rivers have been the show here.
Yeah, they really have. And, again, like we talked about, some very strong running performances so far out of the Chiefs.
And this, Chuck, that was the only thing that's been missing really is, although T.J. Harris provided a decent running attack, this 1-2 punch here, if the Polarbears can't control this, it's going to be a long night for them.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And, we talked about in the pregame that, the Chiefs have no problem airing the ball out, but second and goal from the 4.
And so AD looks it over, 2-by-2 set. And I would expect, this is a great place, especially man-to-man, to run a pick pass. Of course, made famous by the Seahawks.
That's right, and they've got the right defense
and he goes to the corner, and that's way out of bounds there.
Yeah, it's not a catchable ball there by AD, and, throw it up there and give your receiver a chance. But
really, that was a wheel route on that, Chuck. We saw the out. They ran out of room, and he turned it up. And it's tough to run a wheel route in that situation with the
There's
amount.
There's not enough real estate.
Yeah, you just can't do that. So, so we'll be taking a look here at should be 3rd down here.
Yep, 3rd and goal coming up here.
And we've got 3:25 to go in the first period, and this period has flown.
Well, we've got a moving clock, Bill, and that's or a running clock, or however you want to put it. But that certainly has sped things up a little bit.
Yeah, well, and we had a late start. We had, of course, lightning and rain and everything else here to start the game. So with the clock running like that, you got a decision to make. It doesn't appear that.
Have they picked up the flag?
Looks like they picked up the flag because
they've got the clock running. So.
Yeah. So I guess what's.
All right. So 4th and goal now from the 2.
Yeah, and I think this is the right call. Your defense is playing lights out. Has all the designs of being a power play, and yes, and I think that might be Maurice Lovett.
Yeah, nice little cut there by Maurice.
Yeah, and Maurice just dives in. Of course, Chuck, when they went to the 2 backs, you kind of know that you're looking to see a power play there where somebody's leading, and Maurice cut inside that block and was able to wedge it. So.
There's the snap, the hold, the kick. And it's good.
And it is good. So Simpson with the extra point, and it was a run, and it was 4-yard run by Maurice Lovett. And what was the time on that, Chuck?
2:21.
And that was.
So that'd be 12:39.
So the clock is working on the scoreboard. Is that just about the only thing that they're using?
I'm going to say yes.
Well, I mean, the ball's not on the 42, has not been. It's in the third quarter, and it's not. So,
Yep.
So they are keeping score, though. It is 7-0 on the board.
It is 7-0.
With 2:21. Forget about the third quarter.
Right.
Where the Polar Bears will take over, it's going to be 1st and 10 from about their own 11-yard line.
Rarely do you see a minus yardage on a kickoff return, but that was one of those instances where we got it.
Can't say never.
Never say never. I think Sean Connery said that one time.
Again?
Too. Yes, again. So the Polar Bears will be stuck on that 10-yard line. And so, guys, the weather, it's definitely cooled down here. That rain is starting to bring a little cool breeze and nice football weather here.
Yes, it is. I'm afraid it's a temporary reprieve, though. It's supposed to be back up in the 90s tomorrow. So
very true.
Here we go. 2-by-1 look now for the Polar Bears. 2 running backs offset to each side of the quarterback. 2 receivers to the top of the field. Again, 1 to the bottom. Now a receiver goes in motion from the backfield into a 2-by-2 look. And now we've got a stoppage of the play. We've got a procedure penalty against the Polar Bears. So that's going to make it now 1st and 15. So the Polar Bears backed up. Now they're on their own 5-yard line.
Yeah. So that's, and it's a growing crowd. Wasn't real big to begin with. Of course, the weather was somewhat questionable, but it's slowly starting to fill in here, Chuck. And
okay, so 2-by-2 look now. And there's a give to the running back. Running back bounces it outside over the left tackle.
And number 24 picks up a couple for the Polar Bears.
Yeah, I think he just got about
to the line.
3 on that. Now a little bit past that. So that's going to make it now 2nd and we'll call it 11 now from about the 9-yard line.
Yeah, it's been tough going offensively for the Polar Bears. Their offense has circled around a 39-yard pass completion and then a 20-yard pass interference penalty. And otherwise, it's been pretty quiet.
Yes, it has. So let's see if they can get something going here. So now we're going to have a 2-by-2 look again. Running back's going to be offset to the quarterback's right.
And number 68, Timothy Vinstra, who one of the fans notified us, he is the right tackle, Chuck, for the Polar Bears. Oh, and Anthony Berry comes with bad intentions, and that's picked off.
Touchdown, Chiefs.
And I cannot see his number, but we will.
Rick, you got a number on that?
So you mean as far as who made the interception or the touchdown?
Is that number 2?
Same guy.
And that would
Same
be.
guy? No, don't have his number.
We're trying to. I think we'll get it here, though.
Well, eventually he will run past us.
Yes.
Is that him with his helmet off?
That's him right there. Number 1?
Number 1, would that be Dre Reap?
Was it Dre?
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, so Dre Reap, one of our pregame interviews. Dre.
We talked to Dre in the pregame, and Dre let us in on a secret that he loves playing defense more than offense. So
yep, he sure did.
There you go. Of course, Dre we've seen this year is a great special teams player, and again, one of the reasons Dre probably likes defense and special teams so much was a college basketball player. So I imagine has very good vision of where people are, just like on the basketball floor. And interestingly enough, did not play college football.
Yeah, and he was played basketball at Central State, and is the cousin of Amir Reap, who is the
the Ohio State Buckeye
defensive back for the Buckeyes. And so just like that, 13-0, as the scoreboard should change. And the upcoming extra point. Oh, and it's a little bit of a fake. It's a lot of a fake. And that is picked off. And I believe that can be taken back for a deuce.
Chiefs on the chase, but I don't know if they're going to get him.
Nice.
Yeah, nice recovery there. Looks like that was
number 80.
Was that 80 or 30? I think it was 30, Tyrone Armstrong. No, it was 80. You're right.
And that is I think it
Number
is
80, that's Glenn Robinson.
Glenn Robinson, former Milwaukee Buck player. No, it's
different Glenn Robinson.
Just kidding.
Too much Kool-Aid tonight, Bill.
But a nice effort there by Glenn.
Yeah, Glenn ran him down. And
so that's going to leave it now with 1:15 to go in the first quarter. Your score, Chiefs 12, Polar Bears 0.
Did we make the first extra point, Chuck?
They did.
Yes,
so
they did.
It ought to be 13.
You should be 13, as I thought. So
that wasn't a 5-point touchdown, was
it? in a new league, that might be an idea there, but
this isn't Canada, Bill.
That's true. That's true. It's a sticky wicket. So
now,
well, our score is correct.
13-0.
Yeah. Now, right now they're on the wrong side of the board here.
Yeah, we're gonna.
Yeah, one more point.
We're gonna get that.
One more point. 13. 13. 13.
He'll get it.
Okay, so back to live action here, and
well, now he's got a 12-3.
You go tell him.
Yeah.
All right, so we're providing some help here to the
scoreboard.
Scoreboard operator.
Okay.
So, all right, so Chiefs set to kick off now. Again, 1:15 to go here with the first quarter.
And there's the kick. Justin Simpson drives the ball down to about the 7-yard line.
Number 1 again for the Polar Bears, and better job fielding the kick. And
he runs it out of bounds
at about 24.
So 17-yard return for number 1.
All right, we got him set, 13-0.
Right.
There we go. And so moving right along here.
So again, the Polar Bears find themselves in a little bit of a hole quickly here in the first quarter, and again, like we talked about, they've shown some offensive struggles here. If they can't get something going, it could be a long night for the Polar Bears.
Well, as I said, the Polar Bears have 39 yards passing, and then they have
a 20-yard penalty. That's about it, right?
Yeah, and running-wise, they've have 2 yards. So 41 yards, but 39 on one play, Chuck. So that's not saying a whole lot about the offensive performance here.
Well, let's see if they can get it in gear with this possession here.
That's right. So 2-by-2 look now for the Polar Bears. Again, running back offset to the quarterback's right, and that is a large running back there, Bill.
That is a big running back there. He's a power back. And, nice throw by number 9.
Yeah, it really was, but number 4 just couldn't haul it in, so
put it right
at 2nd and 10.
Put it in a bad place, Chuck.
His hands?
Put it right on put it right on the hands. And so 2nd and 10, and it's got to be tough, especially in this league, when you're not your transportation's probably a car and you drive down here.
Oh, they came on a chartered bus.
Oh, did they come on a chartered bus?
That's right.
Yeah, I wonder if that was their bus over there.
I actually went out and greeted them and talked to them about our broadcast. They said, well, they've got the link. People are listening to us up in the Detroit area in Michigan.
Ambassador Rick there.
That's right.
If you guys can help us out with the quarterback and the number 1 here, some of the key offensive.
That's right, and that Craig Hayward look alike in the backfield.
Yeah.
2-by-2 look. So
I like the reference, Chuck. And
thank you. Yeah, and again, deep ball now.
Nice play. I believe that was
close.
Was that Dre there on that?
No, I think it was Eric Morton, number 2.
Yeah, you're right. There's Dre right there. That was a nice break on the ball by Eric, and I'll tell you, just about hauled in an interception.
Yeah, Eric timed that just right, and
he sure did. High pointed it and everything. And just couldn't come down with it. But that looked like the identical play to the first play of the game, where the Polar Bears started off with that long game. But again, the Chiefs ready this time, and
looks like Chris Davis is going to get a little break here. And Coach Poole told us, Chuck, that he likes to rotate offensive or defensive linemen in and get some fresh bodies in there.
Well, and like we talked about in the pregame, they're so active up front, that makes a lot of sense. So, clock running down here. Looks like they will not get another playoff. So, and that's the end of the first quarter. So, your first quarter score, Cincinnati Chiefs 13, the Polar Bears 0.
So, looking, summarizing the offense here for the Chiefs at the end of the quarter, Antonio Davis, 4 of 5 with 51 yards. We've got Derek Shear with a catch for 9 yards. We've got Dante Riley with a catch for 13 yards. And we've got a scribbled out number here with a catch for 10 yards.
Those scribbles.
And then and on the rushing end of it, Carl Dove, 2 carries for 17. And then Ted Rivers, 2 carries for 37. Maurice Lovett had the touchdown. He has 2 yards on 2 carries, but he did get the 1 touchdown. And then A.D. Antonio Davis, 1 rush for 3 yards. So that sums up the first quarter offense for the Chiefs. But an interception by Dre Reap, and it's 13-0 at the end of the first quarter.
All right, so the Polar Bears take over now. And first and, third and 10, it looks like, from the 25-yard line.
Brandon Mitchell is in for Chris Dave. Oh, and
drops back and
some pressure there. And Dre Reap with another interception at the 48. Gets the ball back to the 49-yard line. That was a boy. Dre
I think Dre just kind of got lost in the zone there,
and he got a basket catch.
Yeah,
on that
he really
one.
did. I mean, that went right to him.
Yeah. So Dre Reap with his second interception here, and Cincinnati, the Chiefs are in business again. So
and business is looking good. So
business is looking good.
First and 10 from their own 48-yard line, getting ready to cross midfield here.
Yeah. So Dre Reap with 2 interceptions and 1 for a touchdown. Okay, so Cincinnati is still in their territory. They're on their own 49, but great field position, Chuck, to start out this second quarter with 14:50 to go in the game. And the score is 13-0 in favor of the Cincinnati Chiefs. So we will see what the Chiefs dial up. And you know, the Chiefs have been they've played a great under control game here. Not in a big hurry. They're doing what they need to. You know, nice game plan here by Coach Poole. 3-by-1 set, and AD looks it over.
Polar Bears crowd the line.
And AD's looking up top to the single receiver side. He saw something. But they drop off a screen, and he's up to the 40, over to the 35, 25, down to the 20.
There was a flag which dropped.
And I believe that.
I think that's going to be holding on number 74 for the Chiefs.
And that was Maurice Lovett, but it's going to come back, I'm afraid.
Yeah, I'll tell you, looked like Sean Red there. I don't know if his hand got caught, but he just couldn't let go of the guy that he was blocking. And
now we'll see where this foul occurred, because it still could end up in a game, but it doesn't look like it's going to.
No, it didn't. It happened right at the point of attack, it looked like, Bill. So yeah, and there Sean's trying to explain to him, my hand was caught.
my hand.
But the refs having none of it.
So it ended up being a 2-yard penalty. They marked the holding at about the 43. So
all right, that's going to make it now 1st and 13.
Right.
From the 47-yard line.
So the Chiefs, it was a nice play, well developed, and that just those holdings. And
yeah, I'll tell you, that was a nice play call at the right time there.
Yeah, and
I don't know if that was a switch up by AD or what, but the Polar Bears showing blitz, crowding the line, and the little flip screen out to the outside was a great call for that.
A nice run by Maurice Lovett. I mean,
yeah, it really was a nice run after the catch.
Yeah, great cut back to the middle, and
so 3-by-1 look here. 3 receivers to the bottom of the field. 1 receiver alone to the top.
Cincinnati.
Again, Polar Bears showing blitz.
Yep. And Davis gives the ball out to Lovett, and nothing doing there. Gets back to the line of scrimmage. So Maurice Lovett with a no gain, and that's going to bring up.
Really no room for Maurice there on that one.
Yeah. 2nd and 12. And I would suspect we're going to see him go up top here, Chuck, I think. They've had success throwing the ball. They just haven't had to do it because the running game.
Well, they've had a lot of success running the ball too. So
yeah, And when you have your choice of what you want to do, it makes you that much more dangerous.
Oh, that's exactly right. So, again, second down now.
It looks like we're going to get a 3-by-1 set for the Chiefs.
Yep, 3 receivers to the bottom. Again, back offset to the AD's left.
AD looks it over. And, AD keeps on looking at the single receiver side, Chuck. And I think what he sees is how much room that he's getting there. I wouldn't be surprised if you don't see AD just.
Well, we talked at the beginning of the broadcast. First 2 plays were hitches.
You're right. Just
and,
turn
taking advantage of that. Yeah.
Just throw the ball out and let him run. And I think that could happen. And then there's a
inside
post.
Slant or post. And
that's number 16 for the Chiefs, and that is Khalil
Ali. But I think we're going to have interference there on the Polar Bears.
I think so, too.
Maybe a tad early. I mean, that looked like a nice break on the ball. But
I agree. I don't know that was really a strong penalty, but the Chiefs will take it.
Oh, without a doubt.
And they're going to get a new set of downs at the 45-yard line of the Polar Bears.
All right, so 1st and 10 Chiefs from the 45 of the Polar Bears.
Chuck, we always had automatics, and if the corner was 10 yards off, we just told the quarterback to turn and throw it to the receiver.
Yeah.
And, it was usually a 5-yard gain no matter what.
Anytime you want it.
Anytime you want it, right. And so 2-by-2 set, 45-yard line of the Polar Bears. AD looks it over. Again, soft defense.
To the top, not so much to the bottom.
No, not to the bottom. And then AD gives it off to number 34. We'll see here. We'll get it.
I think that might be 32. Tyrone Berry.
It was 34.
Was it 34?
Yeah.
Well, then that's Terrell Hartsfield.
Okay, Terrell's a new one for us. We've not seen Terrell.
Yeah, although 34 on here, I don't think that guy's 6'3", 225. So
now, that could be TJ Harris.
Could be TJ, yep.
So we're going to refrain. We just know it's number 34 and picks up 3 on that hard run.
You're listening to WZAA 106.9 LPFM in Jeffersonville, Ohio, and CampusNation.com, the sports animal.
2-by-2 set. AD gives the ball. A little quick screen. Finally just dumps it off like we talked about. And Deionta Riley with I don't know that he even gained anything, Chuck, on that one.
Yeah, back to the line of scrimmage, and that's about it. The Polar Bears did bring some pressure, but they did have that screen sniffed out. So, again, no gain there. So, going to bring up 3rd, and we'll call it 8.
Yeah, and and so we've got 3rd and about 7 or 8, and there's 11:45 to go in the second quarter. Bill Rayback with Chuck Hale right here on Campus Nation and WZAA.
2-by-2 look now for the Chiefs. Again, back offset to the AD's left.
AD looks it over. He's got that cover too big. And he looks and he's
downfield.
Oh, and a nice adjustment on the ball.
What a nice play.
And I think that's Raphael Deal. Now it's 83. That would probably be Eric. I think that's Eric Evans.
83 Eric Evans, I believe. Yeah, that was a really nice adjustment to the ball.
Yes.
Really nice adjustment to the ball.
So we have our first time out.
22. And that's a 27-yard completion to Eric Evans. And so 83 and 27 yards. And so AD's got him knocking on the door again, Chuck. And
yes, he does. I'll tell you, the
nice adjustment by Eric Evans, though. I mean,
it really was. He went up and got it and got his body in position to the ball, and you can't ask for a much better play than that.
And of course, and talking to the players, some of these players have a close relationship with the Cincinnati Flex, an indoor football team that has talked to us in the past, Rick, about broadcasting. Tyler Crosby.
Just a reminder again, tonight after our PAFL football broadcast, the Campus Nation crew will be traveling to Kenwood to ride the wave with Dave on the big one, WLW 700 on the American Truckers Network tonight. And we'll probably be on there, we'll be there at about midnight, but it'll probably be about 12:30, as I said, before
Dave slows down.
Edgewise, right.
So, yes.
Tune in.
Just when you thought you got rid of us.
That's right.
We're going to be back. So,
on 32 over 32 states, WLW at night.
That's right.
Yeah.
And half of Canada.
That's right. Almost as big a coverage area as Campus Nation.
That's right.
That's
Almost.
Right. Almost. It's only about 17,000 miles less. So,
all right. So 11:14 to go now in the second quarter.
We've got 2 by 2.
3 by 1 here.
Or
Coach.
3 by. Or
Yep.
I'm sorry, 3 by 1. AD looks it over, and and a
quick
fade
snap.
to the corner, and I think
knocked out.
Yeah.
And knocked
I'll
away.
tell you, that could have been a touchdown, but
And
they
I
just knocked the ball out of his
think that was
hands.
Eric Evans again.
I think you're right. That was a nice defensive play there by the DB. Again, Eric did a nice job going up and getting the ball, but DB did a nice job of splitting his hands with his own. Yeah, a little give up the middle and pick up of maybe a yard.
I think that would be Eric Morton. So first time Eric got his hands on the ball, and that puts the ball down inside the 9-yard line. So.
All right. Ted Rivers back in the game at running back.
And Ted, of course, Ted has 37 yards and 2 carries.
Yeah, Ted's had a nice game so far.
Yeah, Ted.
Heck of an average.
Yeah. Ted is what we call an explosive player when he gets the ball. So it looks like a 2-by-2 set. Ted Rivers is going to be to the left of AD, and now he's going to move. They're not quite sure where they want to put him.
Yeah.
But he ends up on the left side of AD. Cover 3 look for the Bears.
Actually, 2-by-1 look here. You got to tie it in now.
Oh, we do. And AD drops, and he looks, and he gets out to the sideline.
Oh, nice job breaking the tackle. Touchdown, Chiefs.
Just a poor tackle there.
Yeah, it really was.
By the Polar Bears, and it turns into be a 9-yard touchdown pass. And we will get the number on that young man here in a minute.
Is that Paul Jones?
I was thinking it was Paul Jones. And I think it is Paul Jones.
Yep. Wouldn't surprise me.
No. So Paul Jones is in the stat column now. And Paul gets a 9-yard touchdown.
Paul wasn't that scratch to be named later, was he?
No. Paul was here. I saw him before the game, so I know he's.
Well, I just meant on your stat sheet. You said you had a scratch.
Oh, no. I don't think that's the first.
A squiggle, Mr. Squiggles?
There he is. Yep, it is Paul.
That is Paul coming off, yeah.
And, rumored to be the fastest player on the team.
Who told you that, Paul Jones?
No, actually, AD told us that.
Most of the team told us that.
Did they?
Yeah, they all They
confirm what we saw.
Yeah,
well, we have seen it.
Yeah.
We've seen Paul, some excellent special teams work and everything else. So.
Yeah. And, a delightful kid. He's at Cincinnati State, hoping that maybe he can catch on somewhere and get some playing time. And if Al Matthews is listening, Al, Paul is waiting for the phone call. So
PAT is good this time. So the Chiefs now push their lead to 20-0 with 9:22 to go in the half. Again, Chiefs 20, Polar Bears yet to score.
Yep. So Cincy second, and that was 9-yard TD pass to Paul Jones. And Simpson's extra point was good. So 20-0, and Polar Bears just have to find something, Chuck. It's been just very lax, and just
I'll tell you, other than their first play, they really have not had a lot of success. And
I think that's where I'd go back. I think I'd go right back to that and try to,
well, we saw that in the last series, and they just about got it picked off. Too,
yeah,
so
yeah, no, that's true.
On the almost identical play to the first play, so the Chiefs now set to kick off here. And again,
and there's now light.
Let there be light.
As we shed some light on the situation, here.
At least partially, right?
Partially. Well, I was going to turn the other one on, but I don't know if we want both of them on or not.
Uh-oh.
Ball's rolling around at the 10-yard line. That's a live ball.
Yes, it is. Finally scooped.
Oh, and it comes loose again. And that was a
rumbling, bumbling, stumbling.
That was one of those blooper reel plays where the ball was just kept on
looking for the Sable brothers.
Yeah,
somewhere. That was
yes, because that one was rolling around and was picked up and popped out of his hands and picked up and popped out of his hands. And
as I heard a much wiser coach than me say once, that's why it has points on it.
That's right. That's right. So, and thank goodness it isn't round with black spots on it. So, did I have to go there, Chuck? Did I? I did.
You did.
So
1st and 10 now for the Polar Bears again. Polar Bears starting out from, again, inside their own 20. They're going to start this time from about the 12-yard line. And, again, they have not helped themselves out with field position tonight.
No, they have not.
Other than the first drive.
Yeah.
Which, again, we saw them knocking on the door, get down to the inside the 5-yard line, just could not convert.
Yeah. Cincinnati looks to be in stats moving up for the Polar Bears.
Yeah, that's right. So 2 receivers to the bottom of the field. Looks like
two men in the back. Oh, no, they're going to go.
We're going to go 2-by-2 look here.
Yep.
Back offset to the right. Quarterback calls for the snap.
And Cincinnati
back.
brings
Throw to the inside, little post, and incomplete.
There was bad stuff going on all over the place there. Dre Reap came on the blitz, and he came with bad intentions.
Yeah, quarterback really had to force that before he wanted to. And again,
sure
you
did.
saw the result of that was incompletion. So, again, running clock here. And so now just outside of 8 minutes to go now. And now the clock has stopped.
It's, I guess, catch as catch can.
Yeah. And so now the clock starts again. So.
Yep. So we've got Cincinnati looking it over, and 2nd and 5. This is one of those pressure package times where, the way the Polar Bears have been on offense, it's going to, you would think something quick like a hitch or, maybe quick post or something just
something to get something going.
Yeah,
here.
So to get some continuity.
3-by-1 look here, and again, the Chiefs playing tight. Talked earlier today about the Chiefs and their dominant up front play on the D-line, and they've made a statement tonight.
Right.
So again, Chiefs right back to press coverage there, 3-by-1 look, and
Cincinnati dials it up, and and a tackle for loss there.
Yeah,
and
I'm not sure exactly what happened there.
We're going to see that is number
13, I believe. That's not 13.
Number is a 0-0. I think that's Shelby.
Or David Gray?
David Gray. I believe David Gray.
Okay, I'm not sure where I got 13 from, but
yeah, I think that's David Gray.
Yep, right there in the middle.
Yep. So David Gray with a nice tackle for loss. And just, Chuck, you have a 42-yard play and you turn around and you come back and you lose 3. So,
can't get anything going here.
Yeah, they got to get that continuity going here.
So 2-by-2 look now, back to the left. There's a snap. Quarterback drops back, and now he's pressured, forced up the middle and over the right side, and finally forced out of bounds at about the 42-yard line. So,
and Anthony Berry came steaming over there with bad intentions.
Yes, he did. Again, we talked about Anthony knows what to do when he gets there, and
that quarterback did the right thing getting out of bounds when he did.
A little self-preservation there. You're right.
Yes.
So
6:31.
Now inside 7 minutes to go here. Again, 20-0 your score. The Chiefs, jump out to an early lead here, and the Polar Bears have had their struggles on offense.
Question is it enough for a first down? I don't think so.
So we have a timeout.
So we've got
appears going to be about a yard short.
Timeout for the Polar Bears, and so that is their second of the half, I believe. And so,
and I don't know, a little bit late on the horn, but
or early,
or early.
Yeah, could be announcing the start of the third quarter.
It's so 5:27 to go in the
Actually, it says fourth quarter now. So,
and it well,
folks, we're in the second quarter.
What's gonna
5:27 to go in the second quarter.
I think they want 5:33 back on the clock. But
is that what they want?
Yeah, I'm not sure they're gonna get it.
With the score 20-0, I don't see it happening.
Bill, come on. Still the first half.
Yeah, I know. So, the Polar Bears were able to get themselves into a makeable first down situation here. Looks like they're faced with fourth down now.
That's going to be fourth, and it looks like about 2.
Yeah.
And again...
so do we pass or do we run?
Well, they haven't had a lot of success running the ball.
You guys, who caught that last pass for them?
4, I believe.
Number 4, okay. So the same guy. He's got 3 catches now, and those are all 3 of the completions.
So you pass it to number 4. Is that what we're saying?
I think that's been the game plan.
Either use him as a decoy, but they've got an eye backfield here now. First time
they've got a large round mound of rebound there at fullback. So
we think it might be a run.
Quarterback sneak, and I believe he got it.
I think he did too.
Very close.
Yeah. So the quarterback.
Very close.
As
first and 10.
Quarterback number 9.
See, it looks like he lost his lid there. Number 12.
Yeah, he did lose his lid.
Yeah.
And so that's number 12, actually. Yep. So he must have. They slipped him in there.
I think he's the bigger quarterback, maybe.
Yeah, he's the short yardage quarterback.
Certainly the wider one.
Mm-hmm. No doubt about it. So number 12 here comes in and picks up the necessary 2 yards.
Yeah, looks like he's going to come back in.
And, we're really not sure what the I guess when you're down 20-0, though, Chuck, you might as well throw some different personnel in there and try to get something going.
Well, that's right. I mean, again, you're in the playoffs. You want to mix things up and, try to find something that works here because,
right.
Again, there's no tomorrow, So,
yeah. Yep. Thanks, Dan.
He just wanted to clear it.
So
we have a first and 10.
And we got I formation again. And
Polar Bears are on the move
tomorrow.
Yeah.
Again, 2 receivers to the bottom of the field, 1 at the top. Again, I backfield.
And the normal defensive line is in. And,
and
a nice throw.
Nice. Oh,
wow.
Picked off.
I think it's going to go offense there. And I think it's going to be a touchdown.
Is that a touchdown?
That is a touchdown.
It is a touchdown.
Yeah.
There we go.
Great catch.
Yeah. Is that number 4?
I bet it's 4.
Yes, it is.
I'm thinking it's number 4. So number 4 with a 31-yard touchdown reception. This young man
he's putting a show on tonight.
Yes, he is. I'll tell you. And again, he had a step on the receiver. The receiver's over there playing press coverage, and a couple times he's been able to get behind him now. And
so
again, with 4:14 to go in the half, your score now: Chiefs 20, Polar Bears 6.
Yes, and now last time they didn't kick a field goal when they got down there, Chuck. So I'm going to take a.
You're speculating.
I'm speculating that.
Bill, don't do
and
that.
they're going for 2.
They are.
So
the Polar Bears break the ice. And
I like. I saw.
I
saw what you did there, Chuck.
Yeah.
2-by-1 look again. I backfield, 2 receivers to the bottom of the field. Lone receiver to the top, and again,
toss to number 24, and 24 cuts it back in, but nothing but a sea of gold and red.
Yeah, I'll tell you again, awful hard to run against that Chiefs D line, and they showed it right there.
Yeah.
That, again, the Chiefs just swarmed on that pitch, and
never
really had a chance.
Of course, in the bottom of that pile was the Chief, Anthony Berry. So
imagine that.
It's just a hard play to run there. So.
Yeah, it really is. I'll tell you that. You're going to have a hard time getting the edge against these Chiefs, and I'm not sure you want to run that play without a tight end.
No.
Well, with 4:13 remaining in this first half of play, the Chiefs are leading the Bears 20-6. Polar Bears have broken the ice, though. As
They
you
have.
say.
Yes.
They have scored.
Yes. Oh, broken the ice. So.
Well, it worked the first time.
Yep. And it's still working there.
Well, like you said, it worked the first time.
Yeah, that's right. So.
All right. So again.
So is it kickoff now for the Polar Bears?
Yeah.
You always have to question if you don't kick extra points and you don't kick field goals.
How much of an adventure the kickoff will be?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. This is a great question, Chuck, and we're about to find that out.
Now we've already established that Highland Park is a suburb of Detroit. Is that correct?
As far as I know, yeah. We'll check that out here, but I'm pretty sure that's what I saw.
It is a place in Michigan.
Yes.
All right. Well, we know that.
Do we need to know any more than that?
No, I don't know. Our Cincinnati audience.
Of course, I'm showing Ohio bias. Sorry, Michigan fans. I know you guys are tuning in up there tonight.
Yeah, it's all right.
So again, kickoff now for the.
You want me to call
the
Jim?
Polar Bears?
Jim Harbaugh. I'll get him on the line here. We'll ask him.
Oh, well played.
Yeah, really nice job by the Chiefs there to cover that up.
And Chiefs have the ball on their own 48, so they got great field position.
An attempted onside kick. Is that what we were saying?
Well,
or was that just a real kick?
I'm going to say that was an attempted onside, given the.
It's the playoffs, and you can't hold anything back now.
Thanks,
Chuck.
Dan.
You got to go home, I heard. Yeah, is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
We know.
We know. So.
Henning has commented on my post. You see what he shows there? The Titanic sinking. This is on our post to being on Riding the Wave with Dave.
Thanks, Greg.
Yeah.
Greg and
Isn't
Dave,
Greg supposed to be on vacation doing something up there in Chicago or something like that? Come on, Greg. You're supposed to be watching the White Sox or some kind of Sox over there.
Something.
Okay, so, 50-yard line for the Chiefs. We've got 3:56 to go, and AD is under center. And when this never usually works out well for the Chiefs when this happens.
It's gotten better as the season's gone on, though.
And
Polar Bears
more reps.
All kinds of blitz
and that is
loss.
A 4-yard loss, and I
don't.
Don't know who the back is on that. We'll find out here in a minute. But I'm going to say that it might have been Maurice Lovett.
I think Maurice just come in. I think he. I didn't get a number.
I didn't get a number either. So
Bill didn't bring his binoculars this week.
Yeah, the one game I brought the binoculars, and we retired them real quick after that check.
Did, yeah.
That did not.
Didn't work out well?
No, that wasn't a good experiment. Okay, so
I don't have my monocle either. So.
It's 20. You know what? It's Carl Dove.
Is that Carl Dove?
Because it's number 24. Yep.
All right, so 3-by-1 look now.
So Carl.
AD back in the shotgun, back to his right.
Oh, and a quick one out to Deionta Riley. And Riley's up to the 45, over to 40, down to the 35, and out of bounds at the 31-yard line.
Yeah, it was Deionta Riley. Nice job there by Deionta to get outside.
And a 23-yard pickup for Deionta. And the Chiefs are in business.
Yeah, nice little run there after the catch by Deionta. And Deionta, we talked to earlier, local product, went to Withrow High School.
And so
nice young man.
30-yard line with 3:05 to go in the half.
And your Chiefs still up 20-6.
Yeah, the Chiefs are. Chiefs want to get one on the board and get back to that 20-point margin, Chuck, to feel good going in at halftime.
That's right. So 3-by-1, 3 to the top. Back offset to AD's left.
AD in the shotgun, and he looks it over. A high safety for the Polar Bears.
Yeah, Polar Bears playing a little more.
He drops in a little bubble screen again, and that could be. And I don't want to say too soon. That could have been Paul Jones on that.
I tell you, nice runs out there, whoever it was.
Yeah, a lot of quickness going on there.
Which again could lead one to believe it is Paul Jones.
Yeah.
But again, like we talked about,
it's number 82. It's 82. 83. That's Eric Evans, I believe.
Eric Evans, yeah. So like we talked about, a lot of different weapons for these Chiefs.
Yeah. Yep.
And a lot of playmakers.
So Eric Evans.
So that's going to make it second, and we'll call it 6 now.
And so AD brings them out, and it looks like they're staying 3-by-1 here.
Yep, 3 receivers to the bottom of the field this time.
And they're still getting a lot of room at the top there, Chuck. I mean, it's almost an 8-yard cushion, so we'll see what AD does. But
yeah, but both outside receivers have quite a cushion on them.
And you would think with the bubble screens they just threw that there would be an adjustment that you wouldn't want to be that far off.
Yeah, a little incentive to creep up a little bit.
So we have the 2-minute warning with the Chiefs leading the Polar Bears 20-6.
And you are listening to Chuck Hale, Rick Phillips, and Bill the Razor Rayback right here on WZAA 106.9 LPFM in Jeffersonville, and of course nationwide on Campus Nation.
Right, and also we got some police action over there somewhere. See the flashlight?
That is police building over there, I believe. So,
is it?
Yep.
Like a department, police department? Oh, okay.
A department of the police.
So they're probably testing their lights before they go out on patrol.
It's possible.
So 2 minutes to go here. 20-6 in favor of the Cincinnati Chiefs in the PAFL first round of the playoffs for Tier 2. And the Chiefs are putting themselves into position to hopefully advance to the next round unless the bottom falls out. And we will see.
Yeah, that's right. The Polar Bears again came out and started off really strong on their first possession, but
2-by-2
shown
set.
a lot here.
And given to
so
number
time,
24, Carl Dove is over the 15-yard line just like that, Chuck.
Yeah, nice run there by Carl. And
I mean, that was an 11-yard gain that happened right now.
Right now, that's right. He hit that hole in a hurry.
And nice job by haven't said enough about the Cincinnati line, but the line blocking's been pretty crisp tonight. And,
yes, it has. They've gotten moving up front, and they've kept AD relatively clean. And, again, nice job up front.
Yeah, those big guys, we'll give them a little love here.
That's right. Like AD said, the big sexies up front.
Yeah.
Yeah, speaking of love, we've got the lovely Heather and Morgan on camera number 1.
Yes, we do.
And I'll just say Dean Thompson on camera number 2.
You're not going to say the lovely Dean Thompson?
Lean.
I'll let you say that if you'd like.
No, I didn't say that. I wanted you to say that.
Lean Dean.
He's not lean.
No.
It's Mean Dean.
3-by-1.
Well, he's not mean, really.
Ball on the 15-yard line.
Uh-huh.
AD looks it over.
So good.
Carl Dove in the backfield, and AD just taking his time here as they're under 1 minute. Yep. And he's looking, and I would pick it up a little bit, but
they are going to have to get the ball off here. Yep,
yeah.
So
and a little comeback route on that side. And,
penalty.
And we've Chuck, not to belabor a point, but we've seen that.
Too late.
That corner that wants no part of getting burned deep. And
no, you're right. The cushion's been there, and
yeah.
That hitch has been there all night, like we talked about. And
a face mask
so
against the Chiefs.
Must have been coming out of the break. He got part of the face mask on that.
Yeah, a little push off or something. I don't know, but not a call you see out where it was very often.
No. Definitely not.
No.
It's turned out to be a beautiful evening here.
Oh,
in Cincinnati.
great night. Of course, we've got the Cincinnati skyline right behind us.
Yeah, I'll make sure that Heather pans over there at halftime so that we've got that. And we do have some interviews that we did in our studio.
Yep.
But I didn't load them to the switcher. So if we do them at all during halftime, we'll have to just do audio, and I'll play that over the audio stream.
And you'll be able to hear that right on WZAA 106.9.
And you'll hear it on Campus Nation as well.
And Campus Nation.
You'll just see the beautiful skyline in the background.
That's right.
That's all right.
So
So 3-by-1 look here.
AD drops. He
snap.
looks. He
AD
rolls to his right, and he's going to the end zone. And that's going to be
That was
almost a great catch there.
Yeah, AD, one of his few incompletions.
And I'll tell you, he made a nice read there, and the
Sure
receiver
did.
had the same idea, but just couldn't break back in time.
Yeah. That's AD's 12th pass, and that's only his 3rd incompletion of the night. He's been on fire tonight.
In fuego.
Yes. So Anthony is looking at the second down from the 25-yard line, and it's they got to get to the 5, Chuck, to pick up a first, it looks like. So
Yep.
They got a ways to go here.
Second in Norwood.
For those of you that do not know, it's a suburb of Cincinnati.
Nice, Chuck. Well played. 2x2 set.
Should I have said Middletown? Would that have been better? Right?
Might have been.
AD looks it over.
2x2 look here again.
Yeah. Cover 2 for the Polar Bears. AD gives it
give
off the
inside.
number, and that is Ted Rivers. And Ted is stacked up at about the 26-yard line.
Just nothing there that time.
Good defense.
Yeah, so I don't think Ted, who's been just as effective as Carl Dove, but -1 that time. So
is it third?
Yeah, third and 20. Third and Norwood, as Chuck just said.
Yeah, well, he said Middletown too, but Middletown's not a suburb of Cincinnati.
That's true.
No, but it's north.
Yes,
Yeah.
it is.
So,
and of course, we are right here on the banks of the Ohio River. Actually, it's the Kentucky River because most of it is in Kentucky, but we call it the Ohio River.
Sacrilege, Rick.
yes. Yep.
Yeah, well, if you fish at all in the Ohio River, even from this side, you
Don't
have to
eat
have
whatever you catch.
You have to have a Kentucky fishing license.
Really?
Do you
Yeah.
really?
I was not aware of that.
Yeah.
Wow. One of those backwards things that you just find out about.
No, it's just that Kentucky owns most of the river. That's even down and across from Indiana, same way. I don't know how Kentucky ended up with most of the
I was
river.
going to say, was there ever a war over that? Like they fought over how much water one side got or the other?
I don't know.
Shouldn't it just be split right in the middle?
Well, I would think so.
You would think.
But it doesn't work that way even when you look at, the lakes like Lake Erie.
Yeah, that's true. The Great Lakes are not
they're not
evenly
split
divided.
down the
No.
In fact, I think once again most of Lake Erie is probably in Canada. How do we get gypped like that?
I think Lake Erie is pretty well divided. I think Superior is
great.
It is great.
Yeah.
It is great.
Yeah. Now, that's the S in Holmes.
It is.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
it's also the largest lake in North America.
Yes, it is.
And Huron might be the one that's.
And we use the term loosely, but fresh water lake, right?
Yes.
Very loosely, I believe, yeah.
Just don't necessarily drink the water. Okay, so AD is bringing them out here, and they are in a.
They already have a 5-wide look here, Bill.
Yeah, they are.
3x2.
It's going to be critical, I think, for
they emptied it.
for the Polar Bears to shut this down because we've got 24.9 seconds, and they don't want any more scores on the board.
If they have any ideas of making this a game, this is the key play, or next 2 players are key plays.
Yes,
of this.
they will need to freeze them right here.
Yep, and AD looks, he gets through. He doesn't want to run, but he's still. And he turns and he drops it off.
Oh, my goodness.
And that could be Paul Jones, and I think it is.
This could be a touchdown.
And Paul Jones.
Wow. Wow.
I don't even know if we have the full replay of that.
That was a long play. That's right.
It was.
We may not have that whole replay.
Yeah.
And I just want to make sure that is Paul Jones, so I give credit, but I believe it is. And it is, number 10, Paul Jones.
Boy, what a nice play by AD, and what a nice job by Paul Jones.
Yeah. The dump off, a 30-yard touchdown pass for AD, and Paul Jones gets his second one of the night.
I'll tell you what, you got to give the Chiefs' whole offensive unit credit on that. They just didn't quit.
And AD was, he's rolling behind his tackle, and he turns around, rolls behind a guard, and he just kept it alive, Chuck, until, there was just enough time to.
Really nice play. So just under 9 seconds now left, and your score presently, your Cincinnati Chiefs 26, the Highland Park Polar Bears 6.
So 30-yard touchdown pass to Paul Jones.
Well, 7-yard pass on a 23-yard run?
Well, yeah. But the quarterback, that's
Gets
just
credit
the way
for
it
it
rolls,
all.
man.
I know,
It's
I
the
know.
way it rolls. But
What's he saying?
Yeah.
1, 2.
I think he's saying they're going to go for 2.
I don't know what he's saying.
It's 26-6.
Oh, it's 26-6.
Rick, you might want to tell him that.
Not,
Well, we just wait until to see how the extra point
That's
goes.
true. Yeah.
Jesus. Oh, sorry.
All right, so 26-6 again with just under 9 seconds to go.
And they're
looks like
well, I think they're worried about the scoreboard because
yeah,
they keep on yelling.
Chiefs are going to have to take a timeout here, though, and
Rick, I'm going to talk to you after the game.
You're going to talk to me after the game?
Yeah. I got to confide with you about some things here. I want to raise my pay.
All right, Bill, because you ask, I'm going to double it.
Hey, wow.
In fact, just consider it done.
That's going to bring a...
And what about me?
What about we're going to double yours too, Chuck?
Well,
Awesome.
no, wait a minute. No, wait, Nate. Are you his commissioned salesman?
I'm his agent.
All right,
man.
Chuck.
I at least
Chuck,
want a 40% raise.
Well, I don't know if I can do that. I'll just double it because I can't keep track of all this. It's very difficult.
Goodness gracious.
Again, the salaries here at ZAA.
Now, since you guys are getting double the salary, I expect you to do double the work.
We've been doing all the work. I'll give you double that.
I don't even know how to respond to that. Okay, so again, 8.9 seconds ago, 26-6 your score.
And they're going to go for one, it looks like.
Lining up for the PAT.
Yes, indeed. So.
What would be the reason to go for two anyway?
Well, you get on 28, but I mean, at this point,
they
missed their extra point, so it wouldn't.
Yeah.
You're not really going to gain a whole lot. Unless you just want to go for the juggler vein.
The point would be to have one more point.
I don't think that it would be distressing that it's 2 points instead of 1 point.
Yeah. And, we got a little, and it's good.
Wow.
And I think
it was
I was going to say, I think that'll stand because
wow, so
the defender came over, and then they snapped the ball, and everybody stopped.
Well, he encroached.
So that would have been
encroached.
encroached.
So
yeah, but
it'd be offside.
Was it a good field goal?
Yeah, it was.
Pat. Okay, all right.
So
I just wanted to.
So Justin Simpson with the extra point, and it is good. So.
So it's 27-6.
It is
now.
27-6.
Yeah. So.
With 8.9 seconds remaining, you're listening to CampusNation.com, the sports animal, your home for high school and college, and of course, professional sports.
Yes, and we are doing our professional sports here. Of course, we've got college football coming up here in a couple weeks as we'll get back into the game of the week.
Big college football schedule, and you went over a lot of that earlier, but maybe we'll do that at halftime.
Yeah, we didn't quite finish it, but we got through most of it, and
we got all the way to week
8 or 9.
1 week left.
Yeah, and
we didn't get to put out the big surprise. I'm just going to go ahead and break it to everyone. We're going to make our first visit up to Bluffton to see the Beavers this year.
We are.
So
that's right. Yeah.
It will be Defiance
College and the Bluffton University Beavers.
The Bluffton Beavers, who have, by the way, one of the best logos, I got to say. They have a nice logo for their beaver.
I believe they copied it from Rick and I's alma mater.
They did. Yes, they did.
Oh, did they?
Different color scheme.
Oh,
but,
okay.
Yes.
And speaking of our alma mater, Beaver Creek.
Known as the Attack Beaver, I believe.
Did you see the new field?
The new field?
Yes. Last year, they refurbished the
turf. They did the turf there already?
New turf.
Really?
There is new turf at Beaver Creek's Frank Zink Field.
Really?
Rick, you might want to go...
we better get back to the action here. What's going on here?
They're
going to re-kick.
They're going to re-kick.
All right.
So we need to make sure the score doesn't go to 28 here.
Well, it can't because they're going to kick 1 point here.
No, it could.
It could.
I'm not paying him double. I'm not paying him double.
And
it's good.
Hey,
and we reconfirm it is 27-6.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Well,
and he confirmed it. So our announcer / scorekeeper.
Okay.
And it's still first and 10 on the 42nd yard line.
At some point in the next 10 minutes, we'll get this 8.9 seconds done with for the first half.
In the next 10 minutes?
I think.
Maybe.
Maybe. Am I being a little too generous on that?
Well, wishful thinking.
Yes, wishful thinking. Yeah. Okay. So let's see what happens here. But
well, look at it this way. We won't have to wait as long before we go on the air at WLW. Because if this game grinds on the way it is, But this is very similar to many of the games that we've.
But it hasn't.
We are 2 hours and 20 minutes and counting into our actual broadcast.
But did the game start on time?
No. And our broadcast started close to on time.
Okay.
So, but we had an extra long opening because of the delay in the game. I think the weather had
Was it
something
the
to do
weather
with
that?
Yeah, because Highland Park was here. I mean, they were here. There wasn't any reason.
Well, there was not a lot of people
we
on
were
the.
here.
I mean, there was not a lot of people on the field.
We were here.
But that's because we get the big bucks.
We do. Well, and Chuck and I, just to let our listeners know, we just got a raise. We just got our pay doubled.
That's right.
By,
Yep, you
by
doubled.
the head honcho.
Uh-huh.
So,
Yeah, well, who's that?
some guy by the name of Phillips.
That's up for debate at this point.
Well, it is Phillips. I'm not going by any other alias right now.
So the Chiefs. So what do you do here, Chuck? I mean,
I kick it off for me.
But I mean, do you kick it on the? I know that, but do you kick it on the ground here, or do you take the chance and them getting a free kickoff?
Up 3 touchdowns. I think I would kick it deep.
You're gonna
I would kick it deep. I would
try to pin them deep.
Yeah, I wouldn't do anything funny.
But they're
they're gonna pooch it to the side, and the ball takes a bounce back.
It almost died there.
It almost
yeah,
went.
It did.
And
look out!
Wow,
that's a dangerous situation. So
and is that number 4 again?
14 is who that
14.
is. 14. He did not like that and flipped the guy, and we've got a Chief totally. Well, okay, thank you.
I think he was just
clowning a little bit there.
Yeah, okay, so that
around.
is that the. Oh, come
That's
on.
not the end, and
Boy,
we've got some.
I
little
said
pushing and shoving, and you said 10 minutes.
I said 10. I said 10 minutes. So.
Yeah, 4.5 seconds.
So again, the Polar Bears, did not like that. The way he was brought down there.
And this game had actually that first quarter was amazingly quick. Of course,
it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then but
second quarter not so much.
Yeah, and we hadn't had a lot of penalties in that first quarter. The game really flowed well, and right now we're having all sorts of trouble out there. So if I'm the officials, I end the half. And
we don't need these 4.5 seconds. Let's just send everybody to their corners and come out.
Right, and get ready for the second half. And then, so we'll do a little. Rick's going to put on a few.
We will attempt
to put on some interviews, and Chuck and I will go take care of any business that we have to take care of here at halftime, and then we will be back right before that to do a wrap up on the stats for the first half. So,
and there you go.
So,
all right. So that's the first half, folks. Again, your Chiefs up 27-6, and we'll be back with the second half action after a brief break.
Okay, and back over to Rick Phillips.
All right, we are at halftime with the Cincinnati Chiefs 27, the Highland Park Polar Bears 6. And we did some interviews in our studio in Jeffersonville earlier. Well, it's actually been about 2 weeks ago. And just looking to see if I've got a port here that I can plug this into, and perhaps we will try to play a couple of the interviews that we had from earlier in the week. The only other thing I might want to be careful of is just how much volume we've got. So let's see what we can bring up here.
Welcome to Meet the Chiefs with Bill the Razor Rayback, and I'm joined tonight by the Chiefs' Jamil Peoples. Jamil, pleasure to have you on tonight. Thank you. Jamil, we've just started covering the PAFL. We've done the great majority of our games have been with the Chiefs. So we want to get to know you guys a little bit better, where you come from, what your experience is. So what is your number so that people can identify you on the field?
In gold and black, I wear 19.
Okay.
In red, I wear 44.
Okay, so 19 and 44. Okay. And your positions?
Defense line.
Okay. Now, do you switch around, sometimes line up a tackle, sometimes defensive end?
Yeah, that's why I said defensive line.
Okay,
so
okay, okay. Just wanted to clarify.
All right. I'm trying to figure out what we're doing here. It's halftime. They've got them lined up on the field. We stopped the interview here. Hard to tell. There were about 4.5 seconds remaining in the quarter, but it looks like they're going to play one more play here before we finish this first half. There's your first play. And that concludes the first quarter. Kind of unusual there. So it is halftime officially now. And once again, the score 27-6. The Cincinnati Chiefs lead the Highland Park Polar Bears. Right here on WZAA, we're going to resume our interview.
You know, sometimes
I guess you would specifically say defense.
Coaches get covert, and they don't want you to know where you're playing at, so we're just trying to find that out. How many years have you been with the Chiefs? 3 years.
Yep.
Okay. And what's your years in pro experience with all the? Were you with anyone else before the Chiefs?
Yes, I have been playing semi-pro since I graduated from college in 2010.
Okay, 8 years. So you are a veteran of the game. Okay, very good. And speaking of your amateur experience, where did you play college football at?
I played at Central State.
Okay. And were you a defensive lineman at Central State?
Yes.
Okay.
There I was a defensive tackle.
Oh, defensive tackle.
Yes.
Okay, very good. And then what about high school? Where did you go to high school at?
I played at Hughes Center.
Okay. And defense, offense, it was a little bit different for you in high school?
Well, I wouldn't say it was different. I specifically was the defensive lineman again, but we had to play both ways.
Yeah.
Ironman. So I
You're
also
right.
played offensive line
Right.
and wherever else the coach wanted me to go.
Okay, very good. Any type of college or high school accomplishments like MVP of the team, all conference, anything noteworthy that you'd like to bring up?
I've had a few of those. I didn't win our conference in college when we had best seasons.
Okay.
I've had a few MVPs. I've had all conferences. All-star team in high school, all that. I've had it.
Okay, very good. And so why do you play professional or semi-pro football? Rick and I like to call it professional football because it is the next level after you leave college, and whether you're being the NFL or the CFL or the PAFL, in our mind it's professional. So what led you to play? Or just a love for the game, or what was?
Yeah.
Okay.
Love. I do every weekend knowing I have a game is like the best thing. Work all week, you look forward to that shit. But also, I don't want to be, when I get older, I don't want to be one of them shit. If I still can play, I want to get out there.
Okay.
I'm going to play until my legs I can't go.
Okay. Now, are you married? Okay, I was going to say, that would be pretty cool for your kids to be able to see you do this type of stuff. So.
Yeah, I'm not married and I don't have any kids right now, but I have a lot of younger siblings, younger cousins.
Okay, so they come
to the games and they look forward to it.
Good.
Ask me for this.
Okay, good. And what's your goal? I mean, we talked about this. You've been in this for 8 years. What's your long-term goal? I mean, is there a hope that you're going to, I know we talked about you playing pretty much year-round, playing some arena football. What's your long-term goal with this?
Well, at this stage in my life,
yes.
I'm not going to. I've accepted that.
Okay.
I've played semi-pro. I've played arena. I've enjoyed what I've been. Okay. I don't have any regrets. But for other players who still have a chance,
right.
They definitely should take advantage of what they got. Get as much film, as much playing as possible.
Sure.
And try to put that film out there.
Right.
But me, I'm good. I'm happy.
Okay. Well, Jamil, thanks for being on tonight, and we will look forward to seeing you on the field.
All right, our first interview tonight at halftime. We are at halftime with the score 27-6. Your Cincinnati Chiefs lead the Highland Park Polar Bears. And, of course, you're seeing on our broadcast the beautiful Cincinnati skyline tonight at night. We want to remind everybody the Campus Nation crew, just after this broadcast, will head north to Kenwood, a suburb of Cincinnati, and they will go to the studios of WLW 700, the big one, broadcasting to 32 states in the evening. We will be on the air probably around 12:30. We'll be there at midnight. That's when the show starts. But it's the American Truckers Network, riding the wave with Dave Martin at the helm, and yours truly and our cast from Campus Nation will be traveling up there. So tune in. We're going to have now our second interview.
Welcome to Meet the Chiefs. I'm Bill the Razor Rayback, and I'm joined tonight by Paul Jones. Paul, welcome to WZAA and Campus Nation.
Thanks for having me.
Paul, first of all, we know that you're number 10. See that on your jersey.
Yes.
Do you have different numbers, or are you always going to be number 10?
Always number 10.
Always number 10.
Always.
That's a good thing. Positions on the Chiefs that you play?
Wide receiver, special teams, kick return, punt return. That's about it.
Okay. And how many years have you been with the Chiefs?
I've been with the Chiefs for 2 seasons now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very good. And I take it by your age, this is probably your first 2 years in professional football.
Actually, no. This is will be my 4th season. Once I graduated high school, I went straight to semi-pro football.
Oh, okay.
I didn't play any high school football, so I just hopped into it and been playing ever since.
So where did you go to high school at?
I went to high school at Whitlow University.
Okay. You probably should have played high school football, by the way.
I think so too. I played about every other sport besides football.
Besides football.
Yeah.
So that brings up an interesting question. What, you didn't play in high school. What was the pushing force that made you want to play semi-pro football?
Just to tell the truth, it's the regret,
of not doing it in high school.
Of not, playing in high school and knowing what you could have did. So, like a drive.
Now, are you in school right now?
Yes.
Okay, where are you at?
Cincinnati State.
Okay, so if Coach Al Matthews from Hawking's listening, he is at Cincinnati State, Al. So we just
Hey, Al.
just to let you know. Why do you play? Is it something to prove to yourself that this is something I could have done in high school? Or do you have, higher goals maybe to be seen by a college or what?
Definitely higher goals, definitely.
Okay.
And it's also to prove to myself because it's just, I always had love for the game, and to skip out, I felt like my life would be so much different if I would have played. So it's that driving force to actually go out there and make it happen.
Did the high school coaches try to recruit you to come out for the team?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm hoping that it didn't miss out on your talent there.
No. Yeah, they definitely came out, but my mind was.
It's pretty sad. Huh?
Yeah, I just didn't want to play any football at the time.
Okay. And what's your long-term goal? From this.
My long-term goal is to actually to get a college look.
Okay.
And actually take off with my career because I'm in college currently. So.
Okay. Very good. Well, we know you have a lot of talent. Remember a couple of your kickoff returns that first game we watched, and you definitely have those feet that can make a difference in the game. So, Paul Jones, thanks for being on WZAA Campus Nation tonight.
Appreciate it.
Take care.
All right, and that was our second interview in our studios there in Jeffersonville at WZAA 106.9 LPFM. We recorded this back on July the 24th, 2018. We're going to come with our last interview that we're going to play at this halftime. Once again, the Cincinnati Chiefs lead the Highland Park Polarbears 27-6. Interview number 3 coming up.
And welcome to Meet the Chiefs. I'm Bill the Razor Rayback right here on WZAA Campus Nation, and I'm with Brandon Land. And Brandon, welcome to WZAA tonight.
Thank you for having me.
Brandon, we've had a chance through the season here now to talk to some of your teammates. We've got you up here. Number, is it always 95?
95 and 55.
95 and 55, okay. And the positions we'll see you play?
Nose tackle, little bit of offensive line, mostly defensive tackle.
Okay, very good. How many years have you been with the Chiefs here?
3 years.
So you've been with them the whole time they've been in existence?
Yeah, I'm like a stepson to them.
Okay, very good. Any experience beyond the Chiefs? Did you start with some other teams, or what's your background?
Yeah, I started out with the River City Nighthawks, great organization. We did really well. Went to a couple other teams after that. Ended up with the Chiefs.
Okay, very good. And before you got into the professional ranks, what was your background? College, high school?
Played 2 years at UC. Left UC. Did some other things with special needs individuals, and bounced back into semi-pro.
Okay, very good. And what's your reason for playing? I mean, what gets you up there every Saturday night to get on the field?
It's the passion, man. It's the drive. It's the dedication. It's the brotherhood. It's being with 11 guys on the field. You know that the goal is the same. The goal is to dominate and destroy. That's what we do. So I love that. That's what drives me. That's what makes me look forward to every Saturday, is knowing that somebody's gonna get their butt kicked.
Kind of a different question. Since you were at UC, how do you compare the quality of play in this league to what you were up against when you were at Cincinnati?
You see so much potential. You know, you got the Paul Jones and kids like that who are just phenomenal.
Right.
I mean, just lighting up the field. And you know, as an older person playing in this game, you know, you can't help but to sit back and just admire kids like that.
Right.
You know, it's such a raw talent. You know, you can do nothing but love the kid. So it's stuff like that just makes you just, you know, just the wow factor.
You become the mentor for him, so to speak.
Mentor, spectator, fan, critic, you know, all those things. So,
And long-term goal with this? I mean, where do you want it to take you, or are you just
coaching?
Coaching.
Okay.
Very good. Okay. Well, Brandon, thanks for being on WZAA tonight, and we'll look forward to seeing you on Saturday nights there with the Chiefs.
Thank you. Go Chiefs.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, and that was interview number 3. We will have other interviews of Chiefs players, hopefully in upcoming playoff broadcasts. Next week we're going to be in Columbus. So that is if we win tonight. Now, still not a done deal.
That's true, and we don't know that the War Eagles
will win. That's right, yeah. So anyway, we hope you enjoyed our first half broadcast. Right now, the Cincinnati Chiefs leading the Highland Park Polarbears 27-6. This is CampusNation.com, the sports animal, your home for high school and college sports. And you're also listening to us on WZAA 106.9 LPFM in Jeffersonville, Ohio. We have our broadcast crew of Bill Raybeck and also Chuck Hale and yours truly, Rick Phillips here. Also, we've got Mean Dean on camera number 2 and... Oh, you're on camera number 1? You sure? Did you read it? Well, Dean's on camera number 1, then I guess, and the lovely Nicole N. Morgan is on camera number 2, right?
Yes, and she is out on break at the moment with Mr. Hale. And
the score of the Hornets game, do we know what it is?
Yeah, is anybody... We do not know.
Don't have a clue, and they have no one, I assume, doing their broadcast. I don't even know who they're playing tonight. Who are the Hornets, the Dayton Hornets playing?
Butler County.
Yeah, okay, the Broncos.
I will try to see
if you can look it up, and if you can, we'll have the announcer announce it.
I've got Tony Martin's phone number, but
yeah, he's not going to take a call in the middle of a game. So
he's not going to answer it in the middle of the game.
So
if we find out,
all right, we're going to be back to action. We're getting ready for a kickoff. Thanks, Heather.
Thank you, Heather. And so, Rick, interesting first half. Just had a hamburger, and the cheese was dropped on the ground and then put on the hamburger. So
seriously. Well, Bill, it couldn't have you a finer man.
It was an interesting flavoring.
Was it?
Yeah.
Like kind of an asphalty taste?
Yeah, a kind of a grindy, gritty texture to it.
Gritty.
Yeah,
I like that.
Yeah.
Gritty. Well, you're a gritty individual.
All right, well, that's what I've been told.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Anthony Davis, first half stats. AD was 10 of 13. And he threw for 36, 42, 51, 71, 78.
Highland Park kicks off, and not a very good kick.
No, not at all. And it is a short kick, and
well, it looked a lot like that. We weren't sure whether that was an onside kick or whether that was just the punt, but it was a similar punt.
Well,
so maybe,
and we talked about this. Is we don't know the depth of their kicking game, although we have a good idea. And
well, that's pretty obvious so far.
Right, to see, they didn't try an extra point or they didn't attempt a field goal when they were down there. So they definitely have some kicking woes.
And that really does shut your game down when you don't have the kicking to complement your on-field skills as far as offense and defense. But anyway, we're in the second half now.
They're going to keep it on the field, from what I understand.
Yeah.
So the time will be kept on the field. So if you do see the clock during the course of the game, just
ignore it.
Ignore it.
Yeah, ignore the fact that we're at 1st and 10 on the 42nd on the clock too, and the fourth quarter, which we're not. This is the third quarter.
And we're in the third quarter, as Rick just said. The Chiefs are on their own 46-yard line. AD comes out, looks it over. He's got a 2-by-2 set. Still a cover 2 kind of look for the Polarbears, and so AD looks, and actually I think that is Maurice Lovett has come in as a quarterback now.
Yep.
So Maurice
pass intended for Eric Evans, incomplete.
Right. And so
almost took out the yard marker guy.
So I guess Chuck, you got to get those guys some playing time, and with a 21-point lead starting the third quarter, you can't do it when you really need to put him in there in a tight situation unless he's got some experience. So you got to get it done now.
Yeah, that's right. It's a perfect opportunity to get those guys some snaps.
Right. 2-by-2 set. Maurice Lovett in the gun. We will identify the running back here in a second. It looks like a 30.
Uh-oh, bad snap.
Yeah, it's 34. And
good recovery, but
Chuck and I have talked about, we think it's T.J. Harris is number 34.
Right.
The build looks like T.J. Harris.
Yes, it does.
We're just not sure if that's T.J. or not. So we will see. And
nice recovery there by AD to avoid a turnover.
Oh, you know what? That is Tyrone Armstrong. I just noticed that on my updated roster, that is Tyrone Armstrong, number 34.
Okay.
So, Chuck, did you have a cheeseburger at halftime?
I did not.
Okay. So Bill said that he had a little bit of gravel in
I got extra. I got extra.
I think they call that protein.
No, this was gravel.
No.
Yeah. He's like a chicken. He needs a little bit of gravel in the gullet in order to be able to digest it.
Yeah. All right, so 2-by-2 look here.
Okay, so 34-yard line of the Chiefs. Lovett drops. He looks. He guns it over the middle to about the 47-yard line. And that's pulled in by Deionta
Riley. A nice job there by AD with the patience to wait for that to break open over the middle.
Yeah. And that was a 18-yard pickup. Was that AD or was that Lovett that threw that?
That was Lovett.
You're right. It was Lovett.
Okay. I was just making sure. I might have been asleep at the wheel. And
nope, it was me.
And ugly things happen when I do that. So, Deionta.
You ended up married that first time, didn't you, Bill?
The only time.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Yeah, once is enough.
I apologize to your lovely wife.
Thank you. Yeah, well, people have apologized many times to her.
I'm sure they have.
Sorry to see what you ended up with.
You married, yeah.
You married down. 2-by-2 set. Lovett in the gun. Sends Tyrone Armstrong.
Polarbears coming strong.
And a
little mix-up in communication.
Yeah, and if Evans had continued out on that, it would have been an easy completion there. But
I think, or if they'd have went over the top, I think he'd have had it too.
Yeah, I agree. So incomplete pass there for Maurice.
So
Yeah,
some,
intended for Derek Shear.
Some defense there by the Polar Bears.
Yep.
They're going to get the ball back.
And, you know, we'll see what, unless the Polar Bears mount some kind of serious drive here, I would imagine we're going to see the backups in for the rest of the game. But never say never, because you never know how that's going to work out. So, Tyrone Armstrong. And, you know, it makes you wonder what happened to T.J. Harris, because T.J. Harris has been a force.
Well, he's been dominant when he's had the ball, yeah.
Well, the games we've seen, he has he's been a man amongst boys. So Highland Park gets an opportunity, and they're at their own, number 24 is able to squirt over to 50 into Chiefs territory, Chuck.
Yeah, I'll tell you, he had to work hard for that. The Chiefs had a lot of penetration there, but
yeah, I agree.
He was able to make a few moves and pick up, I don't know, two or three?
Yeah, 3, I think. And so
3.24.
Thank you, Mr. Micrometer.
Mr. Micrometer.
Sorry.
Mike for short.
So 2nd and 7 from the 48-yard line of the Chiefs.
3-by-1 look here for the Polar Bears. 3 receivers to the bottom of your screen, 1 to the top.
Oh, and Cincinnati's. Oh, and he jumped. As a little early, I think it's not Big Eddie Davis. It is number 40. Number 43. And that would be, we have a number on 40.
It's Julian Harrison there.
Julian Harris got a good half-step jump, but I think they're going to call it on the Polar Bears.
Yeah, I think he might have been drawn off. And it looks like that's exactly what the
5-yard,
is,
5-yard illegal.
2nd and 12.
Yeah, and so Julian saw the hand flinch or whatever, and he got the jump, and I don't think we've seen Eddie Davis out there today, big number 94. I think Eddie's not with us today, I don't think. And of course we had Chris Davis up here, and we had talked to him, but Eddie has been a force here for.
Yeah, for as long as we've seen. So 3-by-1 look here for the Bears. Back offset to the right. There's the snap.
And a
quick
little
throw out to the left.
Quick screen to number 14, and he's able to pick up 6.
Yeah, makes a couple nice cuts out there. Able to sneak up forward for a couple yards. So that's going to make it 3rd, and we'll call it 7 now. From just across midfield from the Chiefs' 49-yard line.
Okay, and that was number. I will say this: that number 4 has had a nice ball game.
Yes, he has.
He has been a force.
So 3-by-1 look here for the Polar Bears. 3 receivers to the bottom, 1 to the top.
And here comes the heat. Oh, and the nice slip screen to number 24 to the 40, 35, 30, down to the 25. Bounces off. He's down to the 21-yard line before he's stopped. Wrestled down by the Chiefs.
Yeah, I'll tell you, 24, that's the first time we've really seen him get out in the open and show what he can do, but showing some explosiveness
wow,
there.
Some quick feet there.
Yep.
And that is a 29-yard pickup for number 24. And, again, we apologize. If we knew the names, we would be getting them out to you guys, but we have not had an opportunity. And that's the first time anybody besides number 4 has caught a ball here for the Polar Bears.
Okay, so another 3-by-1 look here. 3 receivers to the bottom.
And a little bit of a cover 2 look for the Chiefs. They're playing it easy. Another
Screen
slip
again.
screen. And number 24, not that time. It wasn't that easy. Chuck had picked up maybe 2 yards.
Yeah, maybe back to line of scrimmage, but not much more than that.
Yeah.
But, again, the Polar Bears here obviously making an effort here in the second half to take advantage of that Chiefs' aggressive D-line play, and they burn them a couple times on it now.
Yeah, and there's a good thing and bad thing to that is because, the Chiefs are in that that mix right now, getting some kids some experience. But, I guarantee you if they pump one in here, you're going to see AD and the boys back on the field.
Oh, without a doubt.
So 19-yard line of the Chiefs.
Yep, so 3-by-1 look again for the Polar Bears.
And it looks like Cincinnati is going to bring the heat. And, of course, they're
almost picked off.
Ooh, dangerous throw there.
Oh, yeah. And that was, that was kind of like that Tampa 2 look where they got a deep drop by linebacker Chuck and got right underneath that. And, of course, Tampa Bay made that famous with Derek Brooks and dropping people in the middle of the field with that. And
of course, it helped that they had John Lynch back there at safety.
Yeah,
as well.
it did. And I think that was Chaz Morton, who looks like he's doing push-ups there for dropping that ball.
Little self-imposed punishment there.
Yeah, and I think Chaz was actually, I don't know if he was at linebacker. Yeah, he was. I guess he did. I thought for a minute he had been at safety, but he was at the linebacker and took that
just
angle drop
deep, like you said. Yeah.
Right.
Classic Tampa look.
Yep.
So 2-by-2, no, 2-by-2.
Yep. Number 12 drops for the Polar Bears and plenty of time, and just overshoots.
Yeah, overthrows everybody.
And the Polar Bears are. And after a hot start for number 12, he was 4 for 4. Now he's been incomplete on his last 2 attempts. And so, what is going on here?
I've been wondering that all night, Bill.
So,
trouble in the booth?
Well, this is why Rick was so generous to step up with those raises
to
for
double
us.
your salaries?
It doubled our salaries there in the first half. I even got a hamburger out of it.
Hey, did you?
I did, yeah.
I gave you that hamburger?
No.
Or you just felt like you could spend the money now on a hamburger?
That's right, because you gave me.
Because I gave you the double.
You doubled my salary.
Yeah.
2-by-2 look here.
Well, the gravel wasn't included in that.
I got to pay for the gravel, right?
That's right. Gravel separate.
Nothing's free in this world.
You'll eat it and like it. So, 19.
I want a hamburger.
4th down at the 19-yard line.
All right, so
Chiefs take timeout.
Timeout and or the Death Star.
Or the Death Star.
As
yes.
Bill Cunningham would refer to it as.
Yeah, for those of you that don't know, Bill Cunningham is probably the star of WLW, right? A great American.
Yeah, and has filled in.
So he says, yes.
Yeah. Well, that's what Bill says.
Yes.
And he's filled in for he's filled in for some national hosts from
that's
time
right.
to time.
Yeah, he substituted for me for a while there when I was.
At some point in the third quarter, clock is being kept on the field,
Yes.
so
kind
of in the dark up here in the booth. But
I did turn the lights on though, Chuck.
You did turn the lights on.
Well, and there's no actual time kept on our score bug, so really it doesn't matter, does it?
Oh, it matters. It matters to me.
Oh, it matters to you?
2-by-2.
Sorry about that. Then.
Oh,
give
nice.
Up the middle.
And met by a host of Chiefs. And I'll bet you, number 11, Anthony Berry underneath there.
Somewhere in the middle there, that's right.
And that's what the middle linebacker's job is, and a great job by Anthony getting underneath there. And you kind of saw that whole thing stop, and you had that feeling that Anthony Berry was going to be the cause of it.
Yes. He more than likely usually is.
Yes. So, okay, so...
all right, so Polar Bears break the huddle here. Yeah, another 2-by-2 look here.
You almost think that they're going to need to maybe empty it, Chuck. I mean, if you want to run the quarterback or something to get more people out of the box, because I just don't see them having any consistent success in the middle there.
Yeah, that's right. But I'll tell you, the Chiefs really haven't been threatened, so I'm not sure they would even empty the box.
Oh,
and little throw to the flat. And looks like he got in. That's a touchdown.
That's good.
That is, someone's hurt, but I'm trying to get the number, and that, of course, it's number 4. And so number 4 with a 8-yard touchdown reception.
All right, and yeah, we've got a Polar Bear in obvious discomfort here back.
Yeah.
About the 15-yard line. And
12. Okay, so with an unknown amount of time to go in the
third quarter.
Third quarter.
That's why I get the big bucks.
That's Rick, and you do a great job of it.
Thanks.
Earning
Bill
your
said
pay
so.
tonight.
Bill said so.
Earning your pay tonight.
Mr. Cunningham.
So we will see what happens. We know that they'll probably go for 2, and we'll see what happens here. But
you're right. At the past is prologue, they will go for 2. Here.
yes, yeah. Well, as we've seen with the kicking prowess of the polar
Prowess
of the polar bears.
Are you denying their prowess?
I don't know.
Nah, I'm not even gonna give them prowess on what I've seen.
Yeah, there's very little kicking.
No. There's even the kickoff's not kicking. So here we go. And so the polar bears can
go for 2.
They can, if they get this, they can, cut it to a 13-point lead. And
this could be significant.
It really could.
Someone asked him before why they would go for 2 in the situation earlier.
Because he couldn't go for 3.
No, because this right here. Because you're right. Then they could have been up by another point.
That's true. But then you know what Woody Hayes would have said about that.
That's right.
So 3-1 for the polar bears. Number 12 at quarterback rolls to his left. He looks, getting chased by Chiefs.
Oh, a little far.
And that is what we call an overthrow.
Yes, it was. Polar Bears tried to run a little flood there to the flat, but Chiefs did a nice job covering it at every level. So quarterback has to overthrow it. And
so the score remains
27-12.
You're listening to CampusNation.com, the sports animal, your home for high school and college sports. And, of course, our semi-professional sports here at the PAFL.
That's right. Right. Only here is the only place that you can get the PAFL live and full games.
That's right. We didn't find the score of the Dayton team.
We didn't.
You forgot.
Well,
you were distracted.
Again, the only way I can do that is to call Tony Martin, who's the head coach.
You can't call him. He's conducting a game.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. That is the only way we can find out.
If you called me in the middle of a game, Bill, you know what I would do?
Because you can't go to the league website and find this.
Yeah.
Who does Dayton play tonight?
They play the Broncos of
Butler County.
Yes, sir, Butler County. So,
who is
they're both good teams.
Yes, they are.
Yeah. So that will be a great football game.
Yes, it will.
So
probably is.
Yes.
Maybe even was at this point.
Yeah, we don't know.
I guess that's the disadvantage of being getting that second seed in the division, having to get Butler County in the first round.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
congratulations. Here's your prize.
Yeah,
that's no.
You're
easy
in the playoffs.
Task.
Yeah.
So once again, the Polar Bears of Highland Park, a suburb of Detroit, have scored, and it is now 27-12.
And let's see who we have back deep for
a little better kick.
We are still in the third quarter of play.
Number 83, Eric Evans.
Nice
bounces back to the 30,
Eric.
over to 40, back to the middle, over to 45, over to 50, out to the 45-yard line.
Well, I'll tell you, the Chiefs continue to make big plays on special teams.
Yeah, they sure do. And that was a 27, 30-yard kickoff return for Eric Evans.
Yeah, really nice return.
And so and I would think we're going to see some of the regulars back now. Just a feeling in a corner there, as they used to say in boxing. Probably still do say in boxing.
Okay.
Kick return.
All right, so the Chiefs take over just across midfield from the Polar Bears' 47-yard line.
And I'm looking to see if we've got Antonio back. I don't see AD on the sideline because he has a big AD on the back of his jersey.
Everybody likes what I posted there on Facebook. I think it's appropriate tonight.
Yeah. So, yes. Okay, so Maurice Lovett remains in as quarterback.
Yeah, so 2-by-2 look here from the Chiefs. Again, back offset to Lovett's left.
And, that cover 2 look.
There's a snap and a fake up the middle.
And that was a fake to number, that was Rico Pritchard.
Intended for Rico Pritchard.
Yeah.
And
I've heard of
Rico
him.
Just couldn't haul it in. Yeah,
I've heard of Rico.
Gotten to know Rico pretty well. Rico, one of the owners/players.
Yeah, this is actually the last year Rico says he's going to play. He's going to focus more on being in the administrative area there.
Right.
Yeah. So you'll have the numbers of everybody and their names, Yeah.
Oh, that will be
helpful.
Things to come in the near future for
That's right.
for the league. So
another 2x2 look.
2x2, and Maurice Lovett. Maurice is a running back, so it's not too far fetched to believe that Maurice wouldn't take this snap and go.
Run,
and we did some Maurice play quarterback a little earlier against Dayton.
And there he goes out to the right. Oh, and he gets it up.
Wide
open. Oh!
Whoa!
Wow.
Oh, and Maurice, that was a great pass by Maurice. He rolled to his right.
And I'll tell you, I don't know who that receiver is, but
he's going to regret that one.
I guarantee he's kicking himself right now.
Because he was on the PAFL Game of the Week right there on TV.
And we just did the replay.
Yeah.
He had a step.
He was embarrassed, not once, but twice.
Khalid Ali, I believe.
Was that Khalid?
Yeah. Khalid's kicking himself right now saying, man, I want that one back.
Yeah.
So Maurice Lovett just laid that one right out there. Now you've got 3rd and 10 yards. And
actually, Ali just won in the game, so I don't think that was Khalid. That was
no, he came back in.
Derek Shear there that missed on the touchdown.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry, Khalid. So it was number 6, Derek Shear.
5.
And now we've got a 2x2 set, and Maurice Lovett with 3rd and 10 looking at him from the Polar Bear 47-yard line. Takes the snap. He looks. He rolls. He steps up in the pocket, and he's going to take off. He's over to 45, over to 40, over to 35, to the 30, to the 25. Bulls his way down to the 18-yard line, and that's good enough for.
And, Bill, that was what you were just talking about. When he needs to run, he's got the legs to do it.
Yep. And he took off and went. And so Maurice Lovett with a 29-yard gain.
Yeah, really nice run by Maurice there.
And keeps the drive alive. And, so, again, these are the things that you have to do. You get people in the game and let them get some experience. So you never know when they're going to be put in these real pressure situations, so they've got to be ready to go.
Yep. All right, so 1st and 10 now from the
16-yard line.
16 of the Polar Bears, and again, a 2x2 look again for the Chiefs.
And Maurice takes it and gives it off. Oh, and up to the 10-5 touchdown. And I think that might be, and we're going to get a number on him here in a second, but I think that might be Carl Dove. And I saw Carl Dove at halftime, and he's a stout young man.
I'll tell you, whoever that was hit the hole in a hurry.
Yeah. And that is Carl Dove, number 24.
Yeah, listed at 5'9", 200, and
yeah, and
I believe it.
And Carl hit that hard, and a nice 15-yard touchdown run for Carl. And so
right now it's 33-12. The Chiefs over the Polar Bears.
Okay, and it looks like they are going to attempt a PAT.
Yes, and it would be, now, is it Justin Simpson?
I believe it is.
And AD's
AD
out.
back into hold.
Yeah, AD's counting them up. So 33-14 in favor of the Cincinnati Chiefs.
No, it's 33-12.
Oh, yes, 33. Yes, you're 14,
right. I know, but I've got to go correct him again here. See, now I should be being paid triple here.
You should. You need to give yourself a raise, Rick. Well, it's a special night. So here we go. So Justin Simpson getting ready to attempt to make it 34-12.
Am I the only one that hears Loretta Lynn? Are you getting that?
I hear Loretta Lynn, too.
Okay, all right.
And the kick is good, so that makes it 34-12.
34-12.
Do you think he'll get the point on there? Now, he just announced 33-12. One more, 34-12.
Okay, so anyhow, so the Chiefs will kick off now to the Polarbears, and so guys, at this point, I think you're just going to see Cincinnati
Cruise control.
Yeah, Cincinnati's defense, they're just going to pin their ears back, have a little fun. Secondary will play deep, and they'll just play for the picks, and no sense in getting anybody hurt.
No, you don't want anyone to get hurt. That's for sure.
Yeah.
So he still has to change it to 34-12.
Yep.
You want me to do the honors this time?
Yeah, go ahead, Bill.
Okay.
You're getting double the money.
Earn that double salary.
34-12, Bill. 34-12. We do have to teach Bill, though, to put the headphones down quietly so that he doesn't
That was,
make blood come from our ears when he drops them on the counter.
It was a little loud, that's for sure. So, again, the Chiefs set the kickoff here, and again, your score at some point in the third quarter, we're guessing probably about midway. Your score is 34-12. Cincinnati Chiefs on top.
It's going to stay that way.
All right.
So, anyhow.
Thank you, Bill.
Yeah, well, I got that extra spiff in my paycheck.
I know.
now.
You guys are just got a spring in your step, both of you now. Yeah. A little gravel in your gut.
Got to go get some new. You got to get some new gravel in your gut. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, get Jordans, please.
I feel like a bird or a chicken.
Just get Jordans.
Maybe supersize that extra value now.
Yeah. I want twice the gravel.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. So anyhow, Chiefs are getting ready to kick off to the Polarbears, and back deep are number 1, I believe, and
14, I bet.
14.
It's been 14 all night.
Yeah, and 14 has and a little angle kick. And number 5 catch.
Whoa.
Rico.
Yeah, there is a penalty.
The
They're
owner.
Call Rico for a late hit there, but I'll tell you, that's a tough situation.
Well, yeah,
you
you just can't tell on that situation. You got to play that,
Well, you let that guy go, and he's in bounds.
They're holding all 98 pounds of Rico back. He's wanting to.
Rico's ready to go now.
Little ugliness now on the field, and again, we saw this at the end of the first half.
Yeah. So Rico Pritchard with a nice stick on the sideline. Good job, Rico. And that could, depending on what Rico decides to do, that might be his last tackle of his career if he steps up to the front office.
Well, he's still walking around out there like he's got somebody to hit, I think.
Yeah. Well, that's true. That's true. He's got the rest of the season. So
I'm not counting the Chiefs out of this one.
So, when you're the owner, do you put yourself in? Is that how it works?
No.
I want to go in, coach, or you're fired.
Now, if the owner's LeBron James, I guess, LeBron would put himself in.
I don't think LeBron's affiliated with this team.
No, he's not. But if he owned the Cavaliers. But he's not with the Cavaliers.
Or the Cleveland Rams.
Or the Cleveland Rams, yeah. Or the... Nah, I'm not even going to go there.
It's probably best.
Probably good.
Probably best.
Yeah, okay.
Well, we still have a discussion somewhere
we have a
at
scrum.
the 55, someone at the 45-yard line out in the middle of the...
This isn't Canada, Rick.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
That's true. No 55-yard line.
We've got a scrum going on.
Yeah, well...
I believe that, after
there was a flag, but the question is, are they going to pick the flag up or not? They keep pointing to the other goal.
Well, they're pointing. He's pointing towards the Chiefs.
Huh.
But now he's putting it back in his pocket. My interpretation on that would be that's a judgment call on that sideline.
Yep.
And, he could pick up the flag on it and be well justified about it. But at the same time, given the score, if you want to keep things under control,
Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking.
Yep.
That, if he does pick that up, the Polar Bears are not going to be a very happy group of young men.
No.
So.
No, you don't want a mad polar bear.
Never.
No, I wouldn't think so.
Never. Never. You don't. You never want a
situation.
You never want a polar bear to be angry.
Not at you.
No. You'd be the guy you're camping with, or anybody else around.
Somebody Bill. There are no polar bears where you would be camping. No one camps.
You don't know.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
No, I saw Bear Grylls up there camping.
Bill's an extreme camper.
That's right.
Oh, that's
so
right.
Like
I forgot. He's also a prepper.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
They are going to assess the penalty here, so the Polar Bears are going to take over at about midfield, it looks like.
Yeah, they have good field position.
Okay. So, yeah.
Or is that the end of the quarter?
Well, we don't know that.
Wow. Well,
it looks like it might be the end of the quarter.
It's the end of the quarter, and they're going to
assess a penalty.
Maybe.
I don't know that they did.
Because I think
that's about where he
wasn't
right?
it the 35-yard line where he fielded it about.
So you're saying going the opposite direction now that we're changing sides.
It should be at the 50-yard line if they assessed a 15-yard penalty.
Yeah, I mean that's a 5-yard penalty. Then.
Well, and for our audience out there, if you think we're confused, it is because we are confused.
Thank you for that clarification, Rick.
Yes, we do not have a functioning scoreboard as far as time or where the ball is located or score, because it is 34-14 according to the scoreboard, and it's not.
And number 12, there was almost lost a handle on that. Was able to pick up one.
He faked it to that big back, and he couldn't get out of that big body.
The score is 34-12.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So did they assess a penalty on
well, we think a
Cincinnati?
5-yard penalty, but we're still not sure.
Yeah, we think maybe that they decided to split the difference and just not give them the whole 15 yards.
Right.
Well, that would be 7.5 yards.
Well, didn't he field it at the 32.5?
It could have been. The Mike cry. Hey, Mike, was he on the 32.5?
Come on, Mike.
Come on, Mike. Stay on that. Get the micrometer out.
It's been an interesting night down here.
Wow.
Well, if you think that this has been an interesting night, just wait till we go up to Kenwood and we are on WLW, because Dave will have things lively.
You can only summarize this with one word, and that's
Should we put the bat signal out for Greg to call into the show?
We should. Oh, my God. That would just be like gravy on the mashed potatoes.
3-by-1 look here now for the Bears.
We're up to the highest
Chiefs.
count.
Oh, there goes Jameel Peoples.
Uh-oh.
Oh,
wow.
The whole defensive line
and there's
came
a penalty
with all sorts of bad intentions there, and that's Jameel Peoples, and that is number 18, Vincent Harris, and
well, we do have a flag on the play.
Chris Davis. The whole defensive line basically got there about the same time.
Let's meet in the middle.
Yeah.
Well, you said they were going to pin their ears back.
Yeah.
And they did. So we got a penalty against the Chiefs. Let's see what they call here.
We had Malcolm in the middle on that one. Okay. So they're going to make up for the penalty that they didn't call last time.
I'm glad you're not going to be driving home, Bill.
Yeah, me too.
Now, Chuck, are you coming up to the studio tonight?
Do you think I would miss a chance to visit the Death Star?
All right, so do you know where it's located?
I'm going to follow you.
Well, but it's dark out there.
He's just going to look for the big blinking lights. Yeah.
Yeah, it's in Kenwood, across from the catty corner to the Kenwood Mall.
That means nothing to me. So you'll have to.
All right. Well, there's a McDonald's. There's a McDonald's right there at the exit. We'll meet at the McDonald's.
The Cincinnati McDonald's. The one McDonald's.
One McDonald's.
Yeah, there's only one in Cincinnati.
Why do you tell me? Meet me at the White Castle.
And I pay these guys the money I do. I can't believe this.
How far do you think I could take this pen?
I can't believe what you pay us either. So.
Yeah, I mean, it's an obscene amount of money.
Obscene is right.
There's something obscene about it. That's for sure.
There's some, yes.
So we've got a stoppage of play here. It looks like a timeout on the field, and.
Oh, you know what's really obscene is the camera people get 3 times.
That's true. That's true. Yeah. Yes.
No, we already had the end of the third.
Yeah, it's been.
Yeah, we're in the 4th quarter now, aren't we?
Yes.
Can I change the
as
quarter?
As far as you know.
Yes.
All right.
That's actually not the end of the.
We're a little bit late, but
that's all right.
34-12 is the score.
Yes.
We are in the 4th quarter.
3-by-1 look here for the Polar Bears.
And Dre Reap is in a tight man-to-man, and both corners are not going to let him off the line, and they're going to bring some pressure, I would suspect. Oh, and a zone drop.
Yeah, a little combination
And,
coverage.
and Vincent Harris picked up the back out of the backfield, and boy, that could have been disastrous there for number 12, because if Harris had got turned around, he might have got 6 points on that.
Yep.
Chuck.
Boy, and little punt there by the.
I was going to say, sign him up to play punter for.
Yeah, Dayton might.
Well, I mean, even Highland Park could use a good punter like that.
Yeah.
Oh, he is on the Highland Park team.
Yeah.
Have we seen Highland Park punt?
I was going to say, well, no, we haven't.
Yeah, I don't think we have.
No.
Well, I mean, he
might be there.
I was going to say, but if he can punt, then he should be able to kick the extra point and all that kind of.
Well, you would think.
Yeah.
It's a different kind of kicking.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
he could drop kick it.
You're saying
maybe they
no,
could drop kick.
None of the players on the field probably played soccer.
Full circle. Week 1, we talked about the drop kick.
And we're back to drop kicks again. You know, it's amazing how that.
We even had fan comments about that. Did you read that?
We did, yes.
No, I didn't. What were the comments about it?
I don't remember.
About
Exactly.
when the last one happened,
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, big.
Was that a tackle eligible? Is that
And I don't know what. Unless they brought him in as if he was uncovered, but I don't think you can do that anymore.
They have a big running back, but that's not him.
No, he was a tackle.
That was a tackle. That should be illegal touching, I believe.
I would think. And of course, I don't know in this league what the rules are, but if of course the
illegal touching is illegal touching.
No, I mean if the tackle's uncovered,
could he be eligible?
And if you notify, you have to notify the official.
In the NFL, he has to be reported.
Right, and that's why I don't know if that would have been the situation.
So they do have modified NFL rules here. So
right,
it looks like they did back it up there. So.
Yeah, so it was just illegal touching.
Lineman's dream crushed again, right there.
Yeah,
yeah, he had. I mean, he would have been off to the races. He
would have been.
He was.
He was.
He was off to the races.
And it ended right about the 50-yard line.
And I can say that because that guy's 40 is faster than mine.
Yep.
So. Last time they timed me, it was with a sundial.
So here we go.
All right, so 3x1 look here again, and now we're going to get a 2x2 look here.
And the Chiefs, so the Chiefs are going to be.
Now we're in 3x1 again.
They're going to be in a press coverage, and that means they're going to bring the heat. Although the guy to the and here they come, and there's the pressure. Oh, and a nice little catch by number 14. And that's about a 12-yard pickup. And that is number 14.
All right, so went from 3rd and Harrison now to 4th and Marymount, maybe.
There you go. And Jameel Peoples is coming off.
You're quite the knowledgeable person around the Cincinnati area there, Chuck.
Yes. And Dre Reap, boy, look how close Dre is there.
Did have a geography minor in college,
well, yeah.
Oh, wow, we got a little bit of...
finally putting my geography education to work.
I see that, yeah.
Number 3 for the Polarbears took off a couple seconds early there, and he stopped because he knew it was offsides. And
Just trying to get a head start, Bill.
Yes, he was. But, when he took off, he knew he was offsides, and the official... He just stood there and didn't drop the flag right
kind
away.
of wait. Are you going to throw it?
Yeah, you going to throw it? No. You want me to run? What do you want me to do? So anyhow, that's going to make it 4th and a long ways to go.
Back to 4th and Harrison here.
Yes, 4th and 8 and
4th and Cheviot.
The Polarbears got to get something going here.
At least he's getting them all on the west side.
And I keep on looking at that clock, and I know that
it's not running.
It's not going to change.
Yeah, and the score has not changed, and we're still on the 42-yard line.
And we have no idea.
That's actually close. We're on the 48-yard line.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's about, once again, as we said, about a clock.
Broken scoreboard. That's right.
That's right.
A couple times again.
So here we go. And there is the snap. And number 12 gets it out in the flats.
I'll tell you,
nice tackle.
That was a really nice combination route there, Bill. I don't know if you saw that, but really nice job. I believe the receiver 20 was the inside man, and he broke out out of that bunch, and did a really nice job there. Nice combination.
But Dre Reap ended those dreams very quickly after about a 3-yard catch.
Yes, he did. Again, Dre doing his best impersonation of the other Mr. Reap playing football in Ohio right
Yes. And he's in the mix for a starting position for the Buckeyes. You know, at Ohio State, though, you're a defensive back at DBU.
Yeah.
You know, you got a pretty good shot at making it to the show.
I would think.
So, best of luck to Amir there and at Ohio State, and of course
Coleraine Cardinal.
Coleraine Cardinal. Of course, the whole situation Ohio State has put a cast of question marks over everybody.
You're saying we're in flux?
Yes, we're in flux, and can I say that? Is that one of the 7 words?
No, flux. You can say.
Flux is all right. Okay.
Just have to enunciate.
Okay, yeah. Just got to make sure I don't.
All right, so 1st and 10 Chiefs now, and they're going to break the huddle and come out here in a 2-by-2 formation.
Maurice Lovett remains in at the Q, and he looks it over, cover 2. You know, one thing we'll say about the Polar Bears, they've not changed it up a lot on defense. They have been pretty much the same. And, a little quick pass out.
Yeah,
to Paul. I think that's Paul Jones.
Little hot route there, it looked like. And,
looks like a 7-yard. Oh, no, that's Khalid Ali.
Mr. Ali.
Yeah,
So
Khalid gets up.
Nice little 8-yard pickup, it looks like. We'll call it maybe 7. So 2nd and 3 now from just across midfield from the Polar Bears' 47-yard line.
Yeah.
Chiefs break the huddle. They come out in another 2-by-2 look here. Again, back offset to Lovett's right hip.
Yeah, and okay, so Maurice Lovett looks it over, and now we'll get a little more of a cover 3 look. Oh, nice jump cut there.
Yeah, it was. I'd say nice.
I think that's Carl Dove.
Well, look at the way he set up his blockers.
He was directing traffic.
Yes, he was.
Yeah.
And that's number 33, and that's this first carry.
Yeah, that's either Tyrone. Is that 33 or 32? Is that Michael Fuller or Tyrone Berry?
I think it's Tyrone Berry.
I'll tell you, whoever it was.
That is Tyrone. It is Tyrone Berry.
Nice job setting up those blocks there.
Yeah, Tyrone Berry, and nifty little running there for about a 20-yard pickup. So, Tyrone Berry. And so the Chiefs at the 23-yard line of the Polar Bears come out in a 2-by-2, and Lovett walks over to talk to Ali and gives him some information about something he's reading. And so Lovett takes the snap, he drops, he looks, middle of the field. Oh, and really a pretty nice pass there.
Yeah, it was. He had a hand on it, just couldn't haul it in.
Yeah.
Looks like that was. Can't get a number there.
Here he
Rick,
comes.
you got a number for me?
Here he comes. And we
walking down the street.
Number 16 or 22.
It looks like he's got a 0. We have about 20.
Well, Mario Pleasant is 20, but
I don't think that. I think
plays
number
predominantly
2.
defense, I believe. So.
Well, we'll see here when they break the huddle.
Player to be named.
Number 2.
Is it 80?
80.
I think it's the inside receiver here on the right.
On the right?
Could be Glenn Robinson, maybe?
Yes, I think that's who it is.
Yeah, I think I recognize the Sarah coming to the back of his home.
Yep. That's Glenn Robinson, the former
Purdue Boilermaker.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, and wow.
Oh, picked off.
And Lovett just gets picked off there.
Yeah, really nice job defensively there.
That was.
Nice coverage, and really the receiver never had a chance on that one.
No. And you expect any time now, the way this game's went, that they're just going to wave it off and say that's the end of the game, because without a clock out there.
Well, so given the amount of time that's left, Bill, I don't know how much time.
Yeah, no, it's 10:46 in real life.
Yes.
And so we've got to finish the game, Bill, because if not, we got to sit around waiting for midnight so that we can go over
ride the wave.
Yeah.
We're going to go over to the mothership and
That's right.
Well, you know, there's
we're going to get beamed up.
There's an IHOP, and of course, there's the McDonald's right there, and
right across the street, as I've been informed.
Yes.
The
It's
only
the one and
the only McDonald's, right?
Yeah.
But I don't know how far you'd have to drive to get to a White Castle. I'm trying to think if there's a White Castle around there.
The old worm burgers. Of course,
he's going to get us sued. You hear that?
Wow, I don't know what to say to that.
It's the place I always went to when I was out partying in Cincinnati and got a little bit too inebriated, and we'd all stop and we would eat about
did it just
6 or 8 sliders, a chocolate shake, and
absorb the
3 French fries.
Did it absorb the toxins from
it does more than that. Let me say.
It clears the toxins out.
And I don't know if I'm assuming that they do have White Castle up in the Detroit area.
Yep.
There are surprisingly now there are not White Castles all over the country.
No.
Just like there are not Gold Star and Skyline Chili's all over the country.
True.
Yeah.
That's true. Yeah. Oh, there are crystals in other markets.
That's true. That's true. But is a crystal like a slider?
I've been led to believe that. I wouldn't swear to it.
Well, I know down whenever I was down in the Pigeon Forge and Smokies down there were crystals all over the place down there. So.
Yeah, that's what I've been led to believe. That it's very White Castle-esque.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. My son's first effort with White Castle was in Detroit after an Indians and Tigers game.
Really? That must have been an interesting ride home.
Yeah, and the adults on the ride were feeding more and more to him because they were entertained by how he was gobbling them down. So, he paid for it the next day, though.
Is this your frat days, Bill?
No, this is my son when we went to an Indians.
Yes, when he and his son were in the same frat.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah, that makes sense.
That happens sometimes.
Yeah.
3x1 look here for the Polarbears.
It took Bill like 10 years to get through college.
It's all right.
Come on, it was only 7. You gotta get those numbers right.
And you're teaching young ones. That's the great thing.
My undergrad was the greatest 6 years of my life.
That's right.
Not really, but about 6 years.
Really?
Really.
So,
now, tell me, do you guys make more money teaching or more money working with me?
Slightly more teaching, just slightly.
Slightly. Okay. I mean, with that doubling,
we're getting close, huh?
I mean, we could you do that again, Rick. We could retire.
Yeah, well, you will in about 10 years, won't you?
Then you'd be stuck with us for 24/7. Then.
The state of Ohio says I can't retire for another 20 years.
Well, you're just too young.
Yeah. It's my fault. So 2x2 here.
No, actually, it's your parents' fault.
Yeah, you are fairly young.
So 2x2 for the Polarbears, and it looks like the heat is going to be dialed up here. And it looks like they could be bringing as many as 6.
Could be coming right off the edge of the top.
They're bringing. Oh, yeah.
He gets a piece of it. So.
Nice job there. You had corners coming from both sides on that one.
Now, do we think that will the Polarbears head back north tonight, or will they stay over here in Cincinnati?
I don't know. Now, you were the liaison there with the Polarbears, so
I just welcomed them.
Yeah, what did they tell you when you?
Well, they don't.
Did
tell
you
me
get out
everything.
Did you get out the red carpet and roll it out for them when they got off?
I did that.
Okay.
Yeah.
I believe they're stopping at White Castle.
Well, we could all. This would really blow Dave's mind if we invited the whole team up to the studio.
Hey, I tell you what, I think we've got some of the Chiefs that would come up with us.
I don't even know if the sixth floor could hold them all.
I'll tell you what, Anthony Davis would, or Antonio Davis would definitely want to be up there. If we say you want to go to the mothership with us, he would do it.
Well, you know, every iHeart station in this area is there on the 6th floor, so everybody will want to tour the floor and, check out.
And Rick hearts them all.
That's
now,
right,
you need to call them beforehand and tell them that Chuck and I are doing no autographs. None.
Right.
Okay,
Yeah. Well, you will be taking pictures in front of the WLW banner, won't you?
Yeah, well,
Speaking of banners, is ours still up down there somewhere?
Yes, it is.
All right.
Oh,
nice run.
Pops one, and it gets almost to midfield.
Good run.
Nice game by the Polarbears there.
25-yard run by number 2.
Finally able to take advantage again of some of that aggressive defense by the Chiefs.
And that happens when you
smart play.
Throw caution to the wind. But
like we said, they've run the screen effectively a couple times, and now a nice little quick hitter up the middle. So
you just can't have 6 or 7 plays with 6 or 7 in between that aren't any good. So that, it just doesn't get you going very fast.
That's true. So 1st and 10 now from the 48-yard line of the
But some good
Polar
talent.
Bears.
I mean, the Polar Bears have some talent.
They've shown that. They just haven't been able to put it together here. And again, but not taking anything away from the Chiefs. They've done a nice job of shutting them down, too.
And it looks like we're going to get, I don't know, I was going to say
2 by 2,
maybe some outside pressure by Chiefs. But
another
he
nice
slashes
time
off
over the left
tackle,
tackle.
number 2. And he picks up another 6 yards.
Yeah, before Chaz Morton's finally able to clean them up there at the 45-yard line.
Polar Bears putting some nice runs together.
Yes, they are.
And that's 31 yards and 2 carries for number 2.
All right, so we are down to the 2-minute warning.
And it is 34-12 in favor of the Cincinnati Chiefs. Don't confuse me, Chip.
Now, are they? We will be traveling to Columbus this coming this week.
Well, we don't know if assuming
Columbus,
assuming the war,
Columbus won.
Right.
Yeah, because we could be back here.
And we have no idea.
The Dayton Hornets, we have no idea what that's doing right now.
Yeah, with the Broncos.
And we could try going to the PAFL site, but
no.
No, we can't.
No, we can't.
Well, yeah, you can,
but it just scores.
There's nothing,
They won't be updated. Yeah. I guess is what we're driving.
That's what you're alluding to.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay,
so the Polar Bears are at the 45-yard line.
Yeah, 2-by-2 look here.
Yeah, and they are just. I think they're in the slowdown here, Chuck. I think the Polar Bears are just taking their time.
I don't know why they would be though.
It's a bold strategy.
Oh,
number 24. It's a bold strategy, Cotton. We'll have to see how it works out here.
Careful, Bill. This is not the Ocho.
Oh, my goodness.
So we do have a first down?
Yes.
Yeah, well, let's see. Yeah, according to Facebook, we don't have an update here for Butler County.
Yeah.
Although they are playing right down the road. They're playing at Northwest in Coleraine tonight.
What about the Hornets?
Let me check their web presence.
Yeah, their web presence. Okay, so the Polar Bears come out 2-by-2, and no great hurry here to get anything going. And they look it over. They look and look at the secondary. I think you're going to see just a 4-man rush. And nice toss to the middle of the field at about the 24-yard line.
Yeah, that is nice.
And that is caught by number 3. And that's a 16-yard completion.
It would be nice if they could take this ball in.
Yeah.
Yes, it would.
Yeah.
And we don't have a score update on the Hornets page either.
Imagine that.
Okay.
Well, we do have someone there asking about broadcast for the Hornets game.
Yep, and I've had several of the Hornets asking.
And we will get back to you about that.
Well, we definitely hope that next year we'll do as many as maybe 4 to 6 games at a time.
Oh, and number 12 turns it loose, and that's broken up in the end zone.
Broken up in the end zone, though. So.
Second down, 10. On the 24-yard line.
And so, again, the Polar Bears knocking on the door here, trying to make it a little more respectable here.
And we do want to thank the Highland Park fans for tuning in tonight on Campus Nation. I know they're not listening to us on WZAA, although we do have a live stream on WZAA as well at WZAA. It's actually WZARadio.com.
Rick, are you implying that our frequency does not reach the Detroit metropolitan area?
Not quite. Not quite. No. It does a good broadcast around the Jeffersonville area.
Yes, it does.
And do you want to?
In actuality,
let our
for
fans know that
we are what's called an LPFM, meaning in FCC terms, we can broadcast about 20 to 25 mile radius of Jeffersonville. Ohio.
And an early start for the Polar Bear. Oh, and a little shovel pass.
Still got us on his feet.
Okay, there's a series of problems here. but
yeah, I think we might have had somebody leave early.
I think number 14 was about 5 yards downfield before the play, but
no flags though.
It's a minor detail.
Yeah,
Bill. It's a minor detail.
No flags.
And I think they're going to let it go.
Well, the clock's been running.
Yes.
Yeah. Are you sure?
Well, that's true.
I'm going to say they're going to.
We did.
Okay. We did have flag.
Did we actually get a 2-minute warning?
And AD is out there helping he's out there helping the official. Yeah, he is. Yeah. He's over there helping the official with the call.
He's ready to go out.
He is.
Hey, where's the party at?
He said, "Move the ball back. Move the ball back."
So they did call it.
They did, and
I didn't see a flag.
Well, he dropped it right on the sideline, and there was people standing there. So
all right, well that makes sense.
Okay, so here we go.
I couldn't tell if it was a flag or that guy's shoes out there.
That's right.
They are pretty bright.
Yeah, and 2x2. This is starting to degenerate into the morning zoo, Rick.
Starting to?
Another flag.
Number 12.
Nice.
I feel this whole second half has been somewhat degenerate.
Well, it's
you got to consider the sources here.
Yeah.
True that.
Yes.
We're practicing for real jobs. Is that what we're saying?
I hope not. I really want to know where that Loretta lettuce coming from.
Someone loves her.
Do you hear it? Do you hear it too?
I heard it.
Okay.
Yeah. It's not a figment of your
I
imagination.
knew it wasn't.
I have a feeling I know where it's coming from, guys, but
okay.
It's
not out of my phone. That's
and that is the end of the ball game.
Yeah, that's it. So.
Snap decision to end it, and
wow.
Okay, so guys, impressions. I think the Chiefs could have put a lot more points on the board.
I think the Chiefs, like you said, kind of put the foot on the brakes, and they really could have lit this team up a little more in the second half, and just chose not to.
Yeah.
Not to take anything away from
the Polar
Bears. I thought that at times they showed some things, and
they've got some individual talent, and obviously
they beat. I think they just got down early and just never could get themselves back in it.
And they beat Southwest Michigan, so we know that they have the ability to do it. And we don't know how many people didn't make this trip, too.
Yeah,
well, no,
right.
we know that, they didn't have the full contingent.
And I'm just assuming, but, it doesn't seem like they had a ton of guys on their sideline tonight.
No.
You know what I mean? It's possible that some guys weren't able to make the trip. Or,
right.
We just don't know. We don't know those details. We don't even have a roster for them. So, but, can't say enough about the Chiefs and the job they did tonight. I thought they looked really strong. They did a lot of things well. They were able to do some different things and give some different looks. And
I was really impressed in the first half, Chuck. They were very efficient. They didn't stop themselves with penalties. They ran the ball well.
Very clean first half.
Yeah. They threw the ball well. And that first half was as good as we've seen them play all year.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with that 100%, Bill. Like I said, the first half was very clean. We've seen times where, that especially towards the beginning of the season, but even, as the season progressed, we've seen times where, they've made some mistakes and shot themselves in the foot and, moved backwards. But, again, we saw really none of that tonight. We saw a dominant performance from the beginning to all the way to the end.
Right.
Well, this has been WZAA 106.9 LPFM in Jeffersonville, Ohio, and CampusNation.com, the sports animal. We want to thank everyone up in the Detroit area, as well as our fans here in the Cincinnati area, for tuning in and for either listening or watching our broadcast tonight. And so for Bill Raybeck and Chuck Hale and Heather Morgan and Mean Dean, our camera operators, this has been Rick Phillips. We invite everybody to watch again this next week. And don't forget, for those of you in the Cincinnati area or anywhere in 32 states.
Rick, before you sign off, AD made it in.
So we're going to cap.
We're going to extend here for a second.
We're going to cap the broadcast. All right, I'll give him my headsets, and then we will. Do you have anything to say?
Of course he does.
We are looking forward to next week. Next week's game. We don't know who we're going to play yet, but
it'll be either Columbus or whoever they play, correct?
Yes. I think somebody on the sideline said that Columbus won, so we'll be traveling to Columbus next week.
Okay.
So, we're not strangers to the road.
Yeah.
So, we'll make it happen. We'll have Campus Nation with us, and the Razor and the fellas will be with us. So, hey, we've been on the roll since Campus Nation been with us. So
I tell you what, AD, we wanted to ask you about this. You were 10 of 13 tonight. A nice job.
And I think one or two of those were throwaways too.
You got rid of a few of them. But you know what Chuck and I were impressed with? We thought this was the cleanest first half that we've seen you guys play. You ran the ball well. You threw the ball well. There was not penalties stopping drives, and you guys played a complete game.
And I'm glad we put it together in this first playoff game. So that's very encouraging. We haven't played in I want to say 2 weeks.
Right.
So we had that off time, and to have a first half how we had, that's real encouraging for next week, because we told everybody we are 1 week seasons.
Right.
1 week season. So we got another season next week. Let's go ahead and win that thing.
Yeah.
So that was real encouraging to mix it up like that, get the runs and a couple passes, got it to about 6, probably 5 different receivers. So spread it around a little bit. So let
me look here. You had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 6 receivers caught passes tonight.
So that's pretty well spread around. Couple guys running the ball around there, here and there. So.
Yeah, Carl Dove and Ted Rivers.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, Carl. Really
that's a nice running.
That's something nice. And Carl just came in. So I mean, he didn't just come in, but he just came into the game for us.
Yeah,
so,
we hadn't seen him yet.
Right.
So
and we fed him a couple times, and he was running hard. Like, hey, keep bringing Carl in. So So I mean, everybody seemed to be doing their job, and We're looking forward to next week. Glad we got this win, and all we looking for is W's. I don't care how it is. All we want to do is move on.
Yeah, it doesn't matter if it's win by 50 or win by 1. As
long as we get the dub, because I do not want to go home.
Right. Okay.
No, sir.
Well, AD, thanks for coming up tonight.
Yes, sir.
And good luck, and we will see you guys next week.
Next week.
Either here, probably, or in Columbus.
Yes, sir.
Yep.
I appreciate you, Ray.
Take care, man.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys.
All right. Well, from Taft High School here in Cincinnati, Ohio, we bid everybody adieu. Don't forget, WLW tonight, American Truckers Network, riding the wave with Dave. This is Rick Phillips with the Campus Nation crew. Good night, everyone.
Good night, everyone. No.
Okay. Yeah, I heard the razor's been replaced.
If that would have been the case, I could have just tendered the resignation.